kicker, a good place kicker, a good field goal kicker. And that might make the difference in the game. The ball will come out to the 20-yard line. And Tommy Kramer will be the quarterback. They have some good running backs with Nelson and Anderson and Dozier and Rice and Penny. And at the outset, Nelson goes on a wing, and Alfred Anderson is the setback. Kramer is under center, and he'll be there most of the day. Cup to operate out of the shotgun on first down. Here's a pass play by Kramer. He scrambles, and he is sacked back at the 12-yard line. Racing in there and getting the sack with Ricky Jackson, the linebacker, helping to set the tempo for this 1 and 8-yard loss.
And that's what I mentioned earlier, Jack. I think that, it's tough to start off on offense when you have to go 80 yards, especially against the number one defensive team like they are, the New Orleans Saints.
It is second down and 18, a poor start for the Vikings. Now they have the fullback, Rick Fenny, in there to help with the blocking. And Kramer fumbles. A scramble for it. New Orleans thinks they had the ball. They do. At the 10-yard line. First it was a sack, and then it was a fumble. And New Orleans comes away with the ball, and how the Vikings are going to take the wind out of their sails down here, I do not know.
I don't understand what happened. He got the ball, and it came right up to his chest, and he fumbled the ball.
And it's right at the 10-yard line. It's first and goal. And Bobby Hebert will try to get his club in. This is almost an automatic 3 points as soon as they get the ball there.
No question.
But instead, they'll try to get the touchdown. And they're split backs with Hilliard and Buford. And on first down, it's a pass play by Hebert. He is rushed, and he is knocked down as he runs with the ball. Hebert scrambled and ran up the middle and ran into Chris Dolman, the good defensive end on the right side. He did get back to the line of scrimmage, and it's second and goal. He was going to throw, Hank.
Yes, he was, and I think as this game goes along, Jack, we can look for Dombrowski, the left tackle of the Saints. He's going to have a hard time blocking Dolman. But that's what his responsibility is going to be, and it is most of the time.
Two wide receivers are both to the right. And on second and goal, here's Hebert looking to pass, throws into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! Eric Martin, who had 7 during the regular season, a 10-yard pass play, and he simply broke away from the defender and left him in his wake.
They were in a slot that time, Jack. Man-for-man coverage. And Eric Martin ran a post pattern, post flag, was wide open in the end zone. Good pass protection. Got everybody else bunched up on the inside. He throws the ball outside. Touchdown, New Orleans Saints.
And now, Morton Anderson, who hasn't missed an extra point all year with Hanson holding, kicks it through. Boy, that didn't take long. It didn't even take a minute and a half. And hey, Eric Martin, for all you do, this bud's for you. With the score 7-0 New Orleans. Boy, that happened in a hurry. Let's take time out.
I'm Jim Nance with NFL Great Defenders, sponsored by the U.S. Army Reserve. Official sponsor of America's Dream.
2 plays, 11 yards, a touchdown pass from Hebert to Eric Martin after recovering the Tommy Kramer fumble. And the home-standing New Orleans Saints lead 7-0, and Morton Anderson will kick it off to Darren Nelson, who stands at the goal line and probably won't have a chance to return this one either. Anderson kicking from our left to our right. The left-footed kicker boots this one a line drive, and this one is into and out of the end zone again. It'll come out to the Minnesota 20, and Tommy Kramer, who was named as the starter over Wade Wilson, will try to get the Vikings going. And they're a big play team, Hank. They can come back with fellows like Nelson and Carter in a hurry.
Yeah, they have big play. They have big playability. The big thing is going to be security, whether they can pass block. That's going to be the big challenge.
New Orleans lines up in a three-man front. They always bring, well, most of the time they bring four. Nelson is the tailback. Two tight ends, a toss to Nelson running left. He cuts back. He got four. He's out to the 24-yard line. And he ran into a host of tacklers. They really swarmed to the ball. And it was the inside linebacker, Vaughn Johnson, who was first there.
You know, the other thing I think, Jack, when you play against New Orleans, if you're not careful, you let those linebackers, Ricky Jackson and Pat Swilling, free in their murder. You got to block them. You got to run at them. And I think that's what they tried to do in that first play, to run right at Swilling, the right linebacker, 56.
And it is two tight ends with Hilton splitting out to the right. Anthony Carter to the left. Back to throw is Kramer. Sets up and runs with the ball. It's wide open. He is knocked down from behind at the 28. It'll be 3rd and 2. Kramer didn't sprint out of there nearly as well as Wade Wilson is capable of running.
Yeah, that's the thing that's so very important, especially if you get behind, talking about the Minnesota Vikings. They don't have any escapability with Tommy Kramer, nothing like they do with Wade Wilson, and that could be a problem.
It was Swilling who caught him along with Tony Elliott. Elliott caught him from behind, and it's 3rd down and a yard and a half. From the 28. There is a pass play by Kramer. He throws, and it's caught for a first down beyond the 35-yard line by little Leo Lewis. And he was brought down by Brett Maxey, but that's the first Minnesota first down.
The great thing about Kramer, he's been in a lot of football games, a lot of very important games, and he's not going to take the gas pipe. He's going to hang in there. He'll throw the ball and be patient. Yeah, that's one thing I'm sure Jerry Burns was counting on, and that's what he's done so far in the early stages of this game.
He drilled that one right in the breadbasket of Leo Lewis. Lewis comes to the left and Anthony Carter to the right. And on first down from their own 37, another pass. Kramer airs it out for Carter on the fly. Can't get it. Cannot get it. Incomplete, and strong coverage by the cornerback and the Pro Bowler, Dave Waymer. They really swarmed to the ball. Boy, they had a lot of interceptions this year.
They come into the game with 30 interceptions. That's a bunch.
And I know, Hank, you like the fact that Kramer, not that you're rooting for Minnesota, but when you see a team air it out, you like that.
Yes, you got to get the ball upfield, and especially early in the game to make them get a little softer so that you can throw in front.
Lewis to the left, Carter to the right, 2nd and 10 from their own 37 for the Vikings. Here is a toss to Darren Nelson, the tailback. He is strung out and knocked down. He lost a couple of yards on that play. And the tacklers, many of them, were led by Ricky Jackson. He's the strong side linebacker.
And you have to, the one thing when you play against the New Orleans Saints, the one thing you have to do, you have to block the offside linebackers all the time because they really sprint for the ball. And that time they had Jackson in a backup role right in the middle of the formation, so you couldn't block him.
3rd down and 12, and now Kramer's in the shotgun. It'll be tough for him to hear. He has Nelson in the backfield, along with Penny. He fumbles the snap, recovers the ball at the 30-yard line. He lost 5 yards. That's the second fumble snap from Sutter, and Minnesota will have to punt, and New Orleans will be in good shape again.
I tell you what I'd do, Jack. I'd get the hook and get Kramer out of there right now.
Would you?
Yes, sir, I would.
Okay.
2 fumbles and 2 series, you got to get him out of there. You can't wait for tomorrow. There's no tomorrow. You've got to make sure you get the job done today.
So the punter is Bucky Scribner, who replaced Greg Coleman a few weeks ago. A left-footed kicker, and Mel Gray, stands inside his 30-yard line to receive the punt. It's a low snap, and he gets it away. Scribner hangs it high. Fair catch called for. The ball touched a New Orleans player. A scramble for it. Minnesota may have recovered. If it did touch New Orleans, it belongs to Minnesota, and it does.
It does. That's right.
The ball took a funny bounce as Gray elected not to catch it, and that's what caused all the problems.
That's right. He was signaling for the fair catch. He should have caught it. He made up his mind to signal for the fair catch, and then it got a piece of him. It bounces loose, and the
guess who
Minnesota
gets it?
Viker, yeah, Joey Browner.
He's all over the field. Browner, who's a pro bowler, recovered the ball, and Minnesota gets the first break of the day. The ball rests at the 26-yard line of New Orleans. So Kramer gets another chance. Hey, Wade Wilson is the quarterback. He hands the ball off to Darren Nelson. He drives down to the 24-yard line. Hank, you called it. And Jerry Burns jerked Kramer right out of the game.
Yeah, you can't fool around. The guy doesn't do the job. You got to get the hook and get him out of there. This is too important, and I'm glad to see that.
And it was Elliott who made that last tackle. Tony Elliott, the nose guard. How good is he?
Very good. Very good. He reminds me very much of Curly Cup, the great nose man we had at Kansas City, except he's bigger.
There was a pickup of 3 on the last play by Nelson, and it's 2nd down and 7. Back to throw is Wilson. His first pass. He's out of the pocket, and he's on the run, and he can run. He's to the 25 and 20 and knocked down at the 20-yard line and hit hard by Ricky Jackson. It's going to be 3rd down and 3 coming up for the Vikings.
See, had Kramer been in on that last play, it would have been a sack.
The ball is down to the New Orleans 20-yard line. Well, you and Jerry Burns were thinking alike, and you're right, Hank. A lot of people say, well, I'll give him a little chance to settle in. He'll settle down. We'll get going, but there's no tomorrow.
By the time he settles down, school could be out. The bell could be ringing.
It's 3rd down and 3 at the 20 of New Orleans for Wade Wilson. He has Nelson and Anderson in the backfield. He's back to throw. And a whistle stops play, and that usually indicates a procedure call against the offense. It stops the clock with 8:35 left in the first quarter. A procedure against Minnesota, and that's going to make it 3rd down and 8.
It's amazing, this Minnesota team, they consistently have found a way to stop themselves and create problems for themselves. They do it here in the playoff game right now, in a very important game like this one. That's ridiculous. They have too much time this stage of the season.
They did it all year. They did it last week against the Washington Redskins, both on offense and defense. They find some way to mess it up. It's 3rd and 8 at the 25. Extra back is Reggie Sutton for New Orleans. Back to throw is Wilson. He is chased out of the pocket and throws, and it's incomplete. Leo Lewis was the intended receiver. There was tight coverage on him right at the goal line by Reggie Sutton, who had just come into the game, and it's field goal time for Minnesota. And this hasn't been working too well for them either.
Well, you know, the important thing is he missed 7 field goals in a row the first time he tried to make one, Jack, so far this season.
And he is kicked. We're talking about Chuck Nelson, 13 out of 24. The ball will be held by Scribner. It'll be a 42-yard try. His longest of the year is 51 yards. He's a right-footed soccer-style kicker. Minnesota trailing 7-0, trying to get on the board. There's the snap and the kick. It's long enough, and it is good. And Minnesota is on the board after giving New Orleans an early 7. They come back with the help of a fumble recovery. There's been a turnover for each club. We have 8:01 left in the first quarter. Score 7-3 in favor of the Saints, and let's take time out.
Hello, fans. Welcome to Great Football Upsets. My guest is Doug Shipp, the only fan ever penalized for roughing the hot dog vendor. Doug?
I tackled 5 hot dogs, Bob. By halftime, I had a real upset.
What got you back in the action?
Pepto-Bismol. It's got remarkable coating action. As it coats, it soothes. Thanks to Pepto-Bismol, I saw the winning touchdown.
Doug, any final thoughts?
Yeah, Pepto-Bismol. For heartburn, upset stomach, and diarrhea, the one that coats is the only one you need.
Thanks, Doug. Doug, where's my hot dog?
What hot dog?
Use only as directed.
Minnesota Vikings punted the ball, and New Orleans had to touch a man, and then Minnesota recovered 4 plays. They went in to get a field goal. They trail 7-3 down here in the Crescent City, and we'll be back in just a moment. Place Accord Coupe soon at your local Honda showroom. Hank, leave it to Joey Browner a while ago to recover that fumble. He is some player, isn't he?
Oh, he's tremendous. He really is. I don't think there's anybody like him in the league, and he's got very strong hands, Jack, and strong arms. He's just a terrific athlete.
But the thing that botched it up for New Orleans was that Mel Gray, who's back to receive the kick now, failed to field that punt. Here's a squib kick by Nelson, and it is taken by one of the up men, and he has to dive to recover at the 21-yard line. Recovering the ball for New Orleans and giving them possession was Barry Word, one of the running backs. And it's first down at their own 21-yard line for the Saints. That kick, that squib kick, was very effective.
That was a good move because Mel Gray, he can sting it. He can gin anytime he has possession of the ball.
Gray had averaged 21 yards per kickoff return, but he never got to that one. And Bobby Hebert has a long way to go now, and this Minnesota defense can be good. On first down. Hebert under center. And back to throw on first down. He throws a screen, and it's incomplete. There was very good pressure up the middle.
Henry Thomas.
By Henry Thomas.
Boy, he
rookie.
got good pressure.
And he messed up that screen pass, which was intended for Dalton Hilliard. You're familiar with that young Hilliard fella, aren't you?
Well, yes, I spent a lot of time with him last season during the off season, and but he was a great player for LSU. So we got a chance to see him a lot over the fact that I live in the area and was able to see LSU play a lot when he was playing.
Eric Martin, who caught the touchdown pass earlier, is off to the left side. It is a 3 tight end offense for New Orleans. And they start Tice in motion. Back to throw is Hebert. Second down. Flips it out. Comeback pattern. And it is intercepted. Intercepted. On a diving attempt. That's the second turnover. Isaac Holt dived in and got that ball.
He threw it way over the top, Jack. It was a play-action fake with 3 tight ends. You didn't have any speed at all going downfield, and he got good pressure for Dolman right up the middle, and also Studwell, number 55.
And the ball is planted at midfield, and that's the second turnover for New Orleans, and that may kill them here today. With the score 7-3 in favor of the Saints, let's take time out.
A toast to Nick and his lovely bride, Mindy. Hey, this isn't Bud Light. Who cares? Hey, Bud Light's the light beer with the first...
Isaac Holt looked like Willie McGee going back and fielding that one, didn't he?
Yeah, the play was way over the top. It was a badly thrown ball. The Vikings in turnover ratio, Jack, first 7 games had -13. The last 8 games had +17.
Here's Wade Wilson with a pass play, and he threw behind Anthony Carter. Carter was coming over the middle, running to his left, and the ball was thrown behind him, and it went off the fingertips of Ricky Jackson, who was defending on the play. Carter looked like he was almost uncovered over the middle. Wilson misfired. That's one of the things I don't like about him, Hank. He can do a lot of things. Sometimes he gets that free receiver and misses them altogether.
You're right. I did a couple of games where he had guys wide open, threw the ball over their head 10 yards.
It's second down and 10 from midfield. Everybody's throwing the ball today. Here's the running play to Darren Nelson. Running left, cuts upfield to the 45. He is down near the 40-yard line and very close to a first down run by Darren Nelson. And he was stopped by Johnny Poe, who was in there, defensive back. And then he got some help from Alvin Coles.
As I mentioned earlier, Jack, Steve Jordan, he really did a number on Pat Swilling. I think he got a run at Swilling. He ran right Swilling all the way over about 15 yards to the sideline, opened a big hole, and Darren Nelson went right up the inside, was finally tackled by Johnny Poe.
You're talking about the fact they have to block those linebackers.
Yeah, they're sack happy. They want to get sacks. And those kind of people, you got to run right at them and make them stay on the line of scrimmage.
There's nothing worse than being sack happy, right?
That's right. Especially when you don't have a sack over your head. I'm talking about.
They used to wear those sacks down here in New Orleans.
That's right.
First, they were all hot saying, who dat say they're going to beat the Saints? And then they started wearing sacks over their head. But they're going to measure now to see how much yardage is needed. It was 3rd and 1, and apparently it is short. But the captain demanded, or asked for, a measurement, and the referee is going to give it to him.
And I'd run left again, Jack. If I run the ball here, I would run left again, right at Swilling, and make him play football. He wants to rush the passer, intercept passes, and get sacks. I'd run right at him and make him play football.
Swilling is a big linebacker. On the weak side, 6'3", 242 out of Georgia Tech. They measure, and it is third down. Third down and about a foot.
Please reset the 30
We had 6:54 left in the first quarter. New Orleans is on top 7-3. They scored very quickly. And then New Orleans has turned the ball over twice, and Minnesota get on the board with a field goal, and now they have some semblance of a drive underway after the interception by Isaac Holt. Tom Dooley, the referee, is trying to get things squared away with regard to the sideline marker, the down, and the clock, and now here we go. And Wade Wilson is under center. Tommy Kramer started this game.
They're going to run left.
Here they come, and running is Penny, and he gets a first down. The rookie, Rick Penny, out of Washington, a 240-pounder. He is tough to handle. I was surprised that he hasn't played more than he's had, but they have so many running backs, and they're all about the same, Hank.
Yeah, but this guy's big and strong, isn't he?
240.
He's 240. And I tell you another thing, as the game goes along on pass protection, I would put him in there, let him pass block, get two big guys pass blocking, and throw the ball downfield to make sure he gets the security you need.
Anderson and Nelson are in the backfield. First down at the New Orleans 38. And now Anderson goes in motion. Here's a pass play and a draw play to Nelson, and no gain. It was almost like a Statue of Liberty, and then Nelson turned it upfield and ran right into Ricky Jackson.
That's a bad play to run into the split inside. There's too much space, so Ricky Jackson's not going to be fooled. He blitzes a lot. If he blitzes, that play's not worth anything.
Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
You're listening to New York Sports Connection, AM 1130.
Second and 10 in favor or for the Vikings. Wilson back to throw. Chased out of the pocket. Throws on the run. It's caught upfield to the 35. The play to the 30. Very close to a first down as the reception was made by Rice coming out of the backfield and tackled by Jakes, the right cornerback, and Ricky Jackson. An 8-yard gain. Third down and 2 coming up.
That's the one area where they have a big advantage on the Saints throwing the football. They throw an awful lot to their fullback. Going into this game, Rice has caught 19 balls, and Anderson has caught 7, and Finney has caught 7. So that's a lot to the fullback.
Third down and 2. 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Saints on top, 7-3. Crowd in an uproar. Wilson under the ball, and it fakes the handoff, back to throw. Can't find anybody, can't run, throws, and it is incomplete. Coming back, trying to help out was the tight end Carl Hilton, covered by Jakes, the cornerback. It's fourth down and good coverage downfield by the Saints.
And the big thing is that pressure. They keep coming. They keep putting that pressure on the quarterback, and he's got to be back there fighting for his life.
The ball is at the 30-yard line. It would be a 47-yard field goal try. And we have a timeout called by the Vikings with 4:44 left in the first quarter. And the Saints on top. 7-3. Let's take timeout. Minnesota is going to pass up the field goal opportunity. And on fourth down, 4th and 2 at the New Orleans 30-yard line, they're going to go for it.
That's a good move. I think it's going to be tough for them to get this kind of field position very often. And in the past so far this season on fourth down, they made 50%. They're 6 of 12. Pretty good.
What do you think they'll do here, Hank, on fourth down?
They're going to do something left, either a play-action fake or run the ball left.
They have Dozier in the backfield along with Anderson. Motion by Lewis. Back to throw is Wilson looking left. He is chased out of the pocket again. Still on the run. He's trying to come upfield, but goes out of bounds, and the ball goes over to New Orleans. Wilson couldn't unload. He was chased out by Tony Elliott, and the ball goes to the Saints at the New Orleans 35.
That's a terrible call, Jack. You think with the way they're running the ball, they would have played a fake, used a play action of some kind to hold somebody. They can't block the people going back in the pocket. They were coming like gangbusters, and as a result, they lose yardage on the play.
So New Orleans takes over at their own. Well, he ran out of bounds at the 36. Wilson couldn't do anything with the ball. He couldn't run, he couldn't throw, and he couldn't go upfield. And now Hebert is under center. He doesn't make many mistakes. And on first down, He has Mays in the backfield. And he hands it off to the other back, and running with it is Buford Jordan. And Jordan is good for only about a yard as he tried the right guard spot. Behind Joel Hilgenberg, another of the Hilgenberg brothers, who's playing the center spot. And the middle of the line, led by Keith Millard and Thomas, made the stop, a 1-yard gain.
One thing about Minnesota, not many teams play like they do. They use an overshifted and an undershifted defense. They're sliding the defense all the time, so you've got to recognize it and then create a problem from your line blocking assignment.
2nd down and 9, and Hebert on a draw play, hands off to Mays. He's knocked down at the 40-yard line and driven back in very strong fashion. Scott Studwell, the middle linebacker, and a veteran of 11 years now. He's hard to fool, and he made the stop.
Yeah, he's a terrific middle linebacker. He's one of the last exceptional linebackers, middle linebackers in a 4-3. I saw him before the game. He was excited. He said, if we can keep that team on the bench, we'll win the game.
3rd down and 7 for the Saints, and they use 4 wide receivers, with Martin a slot back to the right and Hebert in the shotgun. Blocking for him is Dalton Hilliard. On 3rd down, Hilgenberg, the center, makes a snap. Hebert back to throw. The pass is knocked down by the rush man. Doug Martin got his hand on the arm of the passer, and it's punting time for New Orleans, and both teams are sputtering at the moment. Keith Millard was in there. Is he the one who made contact, Hank?
Yeah, he's the one who got the pressure. He sacked the quarterback, and he's big and he's strong, and he gets off the ball extremely well.
And the pass was knocked down from behind by Millard, who came around from behind, and here's Brian Hansen punting. Back to get it is Carter, standing at his 20-yard line. There's a good snap and the kick. It's rather good, and Carter takes it on the 16 and runs right to the 20. He's up to the 25, to the 30, to the 35. Touchdown, coming up Minnesota on a punt return by Carter. There are no flags, and Minnesota has the lead on a punt return from the 16-yard line. 84 yards for Anthony Carter. And the Vikings jump on top 9-7. There was a missed tackle, and that's all Carter needed. And Anthony Carter, for all you do, this bunt's for you, a sparkling play.
All they needed was a crack. It looked like they had him ambushed, but he made a move. He saw a crack, cut back to the inside, a missed tackle, another opportunity, but they ran right by him, and he goes all the way for the touchdown. No way in the world anybody's going to catch him when he gets a jump.
And it was Hilgenberg who missed the tackle, the one opportunity they had. He was the snapper, and here is the extra point try by Chuck Nelson. That's good. And these fans here are shocked, and that has taken the crowd out of the game at the moment here, Hank, but they'll rev it up again.
At least I can hear you better now, Jack.
Well, earlier on a punt reception, New Orleans failed to field the ball. It touched one of their players, went over to Minnesota. They got 3 points out of that. Now, as they punt the ball, and this one should have been easy to cover, Anthony Carter stuffed it right down the throats of the Saints with an 84-yard return.
And usually the specialty teams do a super job. They overran the play. They were not under control. And after the cutback, the defenders were going one way and couldn't recover. And as a result, when he saw the gap, he took it and it was all over.
Here we are in a playoff game, and usually it's Leo Lewis back there fielding punts, but they went to Anthony Carter, and it paid off.
Well, I think in a big game like this one, you better get the best folks you got playing at the critical positions, because you get one shot, and that's all you get.
Now Chuck Nelson will kick it off with 3:03 left in the first quarter, and the Vikings, taking advantage of most everything presented to them, have a 10-7 lead.
How about the possession time, Jack?
New Orleans has kept the ball for only 2.5 minutes. Minnesota more than 9. Neither team has shown the ability to move the ball from scrimmage, but we have 17 very quick points here in the first quarter. Nelson will kick it off, and Mel Gray stands inside his 5 for the Saints.
You know, we talked about Morton Anderson having 38 touchbacks. Chuck Nelson for the season has only had 7 touchbacks.
So we'll get some action on this kickoff. Now these Vikings will be fired up as they have taken the lead after falling behind very quickly, 7-0. Here's another squid kick, and it is cut by a couple of people, picked up at the 19, returned to the 20, to the 25, and out to the 30-yard line. With the ball for Minnesota goes Walter Lee. Ashley made the tackle as the ball was returned by Barry Word. So Hebert, intercepted once today, starts from his 30. Saints trailing 10-7. 3 wide receivers. Tight end on the left side, that's Hobie Brenner. And on first down, Hebert on a bit of a delay to Reuben Mays. The flag goes down, and Millard makes the tackle. And a 2-yard gain, and now we'll check the flag. Holding against New Orleans. So they're doing a lot of things wrong.
Excuse me, Jack. One thing, playing against the Minnesota...
Holding, 63 offense, first down.
Brad Edelman, left guard, holding on the play. But one thing when you play against Minnesota, Jack, you got to get Browner out of the game. He's like another linebacker. He's right on the line of scrimmage. He's tough to block, and it's going to be almost impossible to run to his side if you don't get him out of the game by splitting him one way and running the other.
Or sending those backs out into the pattern and make him chase and follow, right?
Yes.
The ball is put back to the 20-yard line. And it's 1st and 20. 2.5 left in the first quarter. Reuben Mays in the backfield. Hebert with a long signal call. Back to throw now. He steps up and throws to the sideline, and it is out of bounds and incomplete. Carl Lee was covering on the play.
Both teams are putting an awful lot of pressure on the quarterback. Millard, number 75. Martin coming in from the outside, and Dolman coming from the outside. That time, Dombrowski did a pretty good job on Dolman, and Millard was the one who finally came inside and made Bobby Hebert throw the ball before he actually wanted to.
Studwell and Howard go out. Extra backs check in, including Gugamos. Harris and Browner are the safeties at 2nd down and 20 from the 20. Hebert in the shotgun. Hilgenberg with the snap. And back to throw is Hebert. He runs out of the pocket, stops and looks and dumps it off short, and the tackle is made very quickly. It's going to be 3rd and long. He couldn't get the ball downfield, and Carl Lee made the tackle on Mark Pattison, the 3rd wide receiver for New Orleans. Put the ball down at the 28.
New Orleans is not a big play team, Jack, especially in this part of the field. They don't have great lightning. The biggest lightning they got, the lightning bolt, really is Reuben Mays, and they're playing and keying on him very well.
Martin comes to the right. He's their top receiver, and Mike Jones is also to the right. 3rd down and 12 for the Saints.
We might see a handoff to Dalton Hilliard here from the shotgun. Let's see. Nope.
Hebert back to throw. Steps up, looks, runs, stops now, hit, knocked down, and lucky to hold the ball at the 30-yard line. He just held it and held it and held it, and Keith Millard finally came around from the back door and nailed it.
Millard is really having a sensational afternoon so far in this game. And there's that overshift and undershift defense we were talking about, Jack. He lines up on the right side this time and comes back from the backside and makes the tackle.
And now here's a line drive punt by Hanson to Carter. And Carter picks it up at the 25. He's to the 30 and knocked down at the 35-yard line. New Orleans can't get off the dime on offense. That Millard was out for a long time with a very serious injury that just wouldn't heal.
And, of course, he's valuable. It's great to have him back from the Minnesota standpoint this stage of the season.
He had a calf injury that kept him out, but he's back in there now. And Carter just returned that punt, 9 yards, a 46-yard punt by Hanson, a line drive. And the tackle made by James Haynes for the Saints. But the Vikings leading 10-7.
And here again,
Have
Jack,
the ball.
I try to get the ball up on top and get a big play and get a cushion here because they do not play good catch-up ball at all.
Here's Wilson throwing over the middle, and the ball is deflected and incomplete. He tried to get the ball to Gustafson, the third wide receiver.
Pat Swilling, he's very active. Pat Swilling, number 56. He's way out wide of the offensive tackle, and I tell you, he plays the quarterback. He likes to get interceptions, likes to get sacks, and the ball went right through his hands, it looked like. Should have been an interception.
Second down and 10 from the Vikings 35-yard line. Less than a minute remaining in the first quarter. Minnesota on top 10-7. Under center is Wade Wilson. Hands it off to the running back, and it's good over the right side for about 3 yards as they try to pop one in a hurry to Finney, the big fullback. And he was brought down by Maxey, the free safety. It'll be third and long, Vikings.
That time they were in an even spacing, meaning there wasn't a man on the nose, or the guards were covered, and they tried to run a trap inside. But in spite of that, they played it well. Talking about the New Orleans Saints.
On third down, Minnesota is 2 out of 5. They have 4 wide receivers. And it's third and 6. Back to throw Wilson. Short drop over the middle, caught, and that's a first down to midfield. Wilson just straightened up, and he drilled it to the wide receiver. That was Gustafson. He's a pretty good possession receiver, and that gives Minnesota a first down at midfield. And that's the end of the first quarter. Vikings fell behind quickly, but now at the end of one period, they lead 10-7. Let's pause for this word.
The totally new Buick Regal. There's nothing like it on the American road.
Out on the horizon, the heart of a vehicle commands the great American road is yours in Regal. It's your Regal reward. It's the way it should be in this Regal American land.
The new Buick Regal. The first 6-passenger American car with 4-wheel independent suspension and 4-wheel power disc brakes standard.
The great American road. The great American road belongs to Buick. The great American road belongs to Buick. The great American.
Cold or hot, you'll know what the current outdoor temperature is with the January bargain of the month from True Value Hardware Stores. It's the Taylor Dial Window Thermometer for just $1.69. This bold 6-inch window thermometer features large black numerals. Plus, the adjustable bracket lets you mount it outside of a window. During January, get the Taylor Dial Window Thermometer for just $1.69 as the bargain of the month while supplies last at participating True Value Hardware Stores and home centers.
Back with you from the Superdome as we start the second quarter. Today's game sponsored by Buick and your Buick dealer, by Pepto-Bismol, by AT&T, and by True Value Hardware Stores. Wade Wilson is at the controls from the New Orleans 49. He has Finney and Nelson in the backfield. And there's the snap and the pass over the middle and caught by Carter down inside the 40-yard line. Anthony Carter can streak, and Wilson is just standing up with that little pop pass over the middle.
Yeah, I think they're trying to go to their quick pass package because they're getting such a severe rush. They got to get rid of the ball with a 3-step drop. And Carter's a terrific receiver, and you get a step on anybody, he does, he's gone.
Let's put the ball down at the New Orleans 38-yard line. That was a first down throw from Wilson to Carter. Lewis goes left. Carter goes right. Jordan, the tight end, on the left side. Wilson rolling right and looking, throwing sideline, incomplete. Boy, he drills the ball, and he tried to get this one to Carter at the sideline.
There's a great illustration. He should not throw that kind of a ball that badly. He should have put that one right on the money. He moved the pocket. He was closer to the receiver. He was wide open, and he threw the ball over the top so he couldn't catch it. Bad throw by Wade Wilson.
Later today at 3:45 Eastern Time, Seattle plays at Houston in the other wild card game. Dick Stockton and Pat Hayden are there for CBS Radio. You'll hear that one on most of these stations. Wilson is 3 out of 8. Not too good. Under center. Back to throw. Rush throws long down the middle. Heavy coverage. He intercepted and then dropped. That's incomplete. Oh, no. What are they saying? They say the ball is going to go over to New Orleans, but I can't believe that. All the other officials run to the other official and say, no, it's
terrible
incomplete.
Call.
Incomplete.
Got to be incomplete. Got to be incomplete.
Now it is ruled incomplete. So at first, the one official said the ball goes over to New Orleans, and all the other officials ran up and said, man, you're wrong. Johnny Poe had put his hands on the ball, but then he dropped it.
I don't know how he even could have considered that a reception.
He must have lost sight of the flight of the ball or something, so the ball is still at the 38 of New Orleans. Now the referee is trying to get things squared away. The crowd in an uproar. They thought they had the ball for the moment. It's 3rd and 10. And it's a wonder that ball wasn't intercepted.
I couldn't understand. They had double coverage on the play, and they had one-on-one on the outside receiver, Jack. I thought sure he'd go to that outside receiver. Even if it's incomplete, you don't have two guys covering one like you had on the last play.
He tried to get downfield to Rice, one of his running backs, Alan Rice. So Wilson has thrown 2 incompletions in a row. Folks, if you're looking for performance, reliability, and value, look for Samsung, maker of affordable home electronics. To find your nearest Samsung dealer, call toll-free 1-800-255-2550. 1-800-255-2550. Apparently, they're looking at a replay of that last play, and when they do, I'm sure status quo will prevail. 14-11 left in the half, and Minnesota leading 10-7. And we must point out again that Tommy Kramer started this game. They got him out of there in a hurry.
Yeah, they got the hook on him, and you know the other thing's going to have to happen here too. Mora's got to give some consideration if that offense doesn't pick up of getting Wilson, Dave Wilson, in the ball game as his quarterback.
Thanks reference to Jim Mora, the head coach of the Saints, coach of the year in most quarters.
You know, from a possession standpoint, Jack, it's remarkable. Minnesota's got 10 minutes and 24 seconds in the first quarter.
By the replay official, the play will stand as called. Third down.
They looked at it at the replay, and Joe Gardy, the replay official with Nick Skorich working with him, rules that the play stands incomplete. 3rd and 10, Minnesota at the New Orleans 38. Rashawn Jones is the 3rd wide receiver. This crowd making a racket. Wilson gets under center and calls the signal. Back to throw and throws it out in the flat in a hurry. And Leo Lewis turns it upfield to Gustafson. He's down inside the 20-yard line. That's Darren Nelson. He is down to the goal line and almost got in. A 37-yard pass play to Darren Nelson, who was missed by about 3 Saints and finally stopped by Reggie Sutton and Johnny Poe inside the 5.
Boy, you talk about lightning. Ricky Jackson was blitzing from the outside. The inside linebacker had to cover. Darren Nelson, that's Vaughn Johnson, had to cover him. They missed a tackle. Brett Maxey misses a tackle. So does Johnny Poe miss a tackle. And they finally get him from behind on the 1-yard line.
At the 1-yard line, B.J. Dozier and Finney are in the backfield.
They'll run left here. I guarantee you they'll run left.
They do with Dozier to the goal line, and he is... Did he get in?
No.
Did not get in.
Not even close.
One of the players of Minnesota thought that Tony Elliott failed to stop it in time. And Dozier was spun around shy of the goal line, and in fact...
They lost a yard on the play, I think, Jack.
Yeah, they did lose a yard. And now Finney goes out. Anderson comes in. 2 big backs. Dozier and Anderson, 2nd and goal from the 2 for the Vikings. Wilson under center. And here is some action and contact on the line, bringing down a rain of flags. With 12:47 left in the half. Minnesota leading 10-7. And they rule offside. Encroachment actually is the call against the Saints.
They get the yard back, half the distance.
Encroachment by the defense, number 73, 2nd down.
2nd and goal at the 1. They have Anderson in there, 220-pounder, and Dozier, who weighs 205. Now the crowd makes the noise again. Now Fenny is in there instead. Fenny and Dozier. Dozier, the number 1 draft pick out of Penn State. Wilson under center.
Go outside left.
Here's a give to Dozier. He hurdles, and there goes the flag. He didn't get in either. And I think we'll have a call against the Vikings. Offside. Procedure call, actually. 12:27. Might have lined up offside.
Second down.
And the umpire will mark off 5 yards, put the ball down at the 6. Now the extra defensive backs come running in there for New Orleans. Second and goal. 6 yards away for the Vikings. They use 4 wide receivers. Carter's to the left with Gustafson. Lewis is to the right. Here's a quarterback draw. Nothing doing. Only to the 5-yard line when Wade Wilson, he thought it would pop open, and that's what he was thinking about doing from the start.
Yeah, that was a quarterback draw. They're in that even spacing again, and they evidently thought they could get by with it.
Johnny Paul made the tackle.
The line gets good penetration, but he doesn't get a clean release. You see, the quarterback doesn't. They get penetration, and for that reason, he never had a chance to make the play go.
It was Van Jakes who was there jamming up the play, and it's 3rd and goal from the 5 for Wilson.
He had a roll out here, Jack.
He's back to throw. He looks and throws, and a touchdown to the tight end, Jordan. He drilled it in there. We've seen him make that mistake before and try to force it in, but this one worked, a 5-yard touchdown pass.
And they like to throw the Jordan inside because he's big and he's strong and he maintains possession in the traffic.
For Wilson.
He had a roll out here, Jack.
He's back to throw. He looks and throws, and a touchdown to the tight end, Jordan. He drilled it in there. We've seen him make that mistake before and try to force it in, but this one worked, a 5-yard touchdown pass.
And they like to throw the Jordan inside because he's big and he's strong and he maintains possession in the traffic area. He got this one off in good shape. Clark, number 75, who normally plays end, is playing tackle. He never got the hands up, and he whistled the ball. You couldn't throw a ball better than he threw that with the Steve Jordan right between 2 defenders.
We have the extra point try coming up by Nelson. Hank, do you remember that game that New Orleans played against Cincinnati? They fell behind 24-3. The extra point is good, 17-7.
Yeah, they fell behind. They finally won the game, 41-24.
So that's what these Saints are capable of. And to Steve Jordan, who caught that touchdown pass, for all you do, this bud's for you. 11:41 left in the half. Vikings lead by 10 with the score 17-7. Let's take time out.
Jack Buck with great upsets in football, sponsored by Pepto-Bismol. The Dolphins had won 18 in a row, but then they met the Raiders. Details upcoming.
It's almost halftime, and there's a fan down there who's in real trouble. That's right, Harry. He intercepted 4 burritos in the first quarter. This could be a major upset. But look, he's reaching for Pepto-Bismol tablet. Smart play, Harry. That fan knows Pepto-Bismol has a remarkable coating action. As it coats, it soothes. He's dropping back for another burrito. And that fan is back in the ballgame thanks to Pepto-Bismol. For heartburn, upset stomach, and diarrhea, the one that coats is the only one you need. Look, Harry, he's going out for nachos. He's wide open.
Use only as directed. The Dolphins were attempting to win an NFL record 19th straight game, September 23rd, 1973. Oakland stopped their streak with a 12-7 victory. The Dolphins beat Oakland for the AFC title later that season and won their 2nd straight Super Bowl. Great upsets in football, sponsored by Pepto-Bismol. The one that coats is the only one you need.
If you're still thinking that driving an economy car is by definition something of a dull trip, Honda would like to remind you that times have changed. That was then. This is now. Introducing the new fuel-injected, fun-to-drive 4-door Civic from Honda.
Last week against Washington on a comparable pass play, Wade Wilson was intercepted, and the ball was run back 100 yards, but he got this one in there.
He did, between two fine linebackers, too, Vaughn Johnson, 53, and Ricky Jackson. How he got the ball through there, I don't know, but it had radar.
He had some steam on it, and Ricky Jackson reached for it, couldn't get it. Steve Jordan caught it. And now Nelson will kick it off to Mel Gray. Gray could change this game around. He has averaged 21 yards per kickoff return.
He'll kick another knuckleball, Jack. They're not going to give him a chance to return the ball, I'm sure of that.
There's that line drive, the knuckler, and it's taken by one of the upbacks who is quickly to the 20, 25, 30-yard line. And New Orleans will start from there, and then they have been unable to get off a dime. Barry Word returned that one to the 30, and he was tackled by Carl Hilton, the Minnesota tight end.
You know, so far, Jack, on first down, the New Orleans Saints have averaged 0.5, a half a yard on 1st and 10.
They can't get off a dime. Minnesota's kept the ball more than 13 minutes. New Orleans has had the ball 4.5 minutes. We'll have a station break coming up right after this next play. Under center is Hebert with Reuben Mays in the backfield. On first down, he makes the call and gives it off to Mays, and Studwell filled the hole, and a flag goes down. A 4-yard gain. Will deal with the flag right now.
That time, Jack, what happened, he changed the play, I think, holding on a part of the Saints. I think they're going to be called another 10. But what happened, Millard lined up on the left side, and then right before the...
Holding, 63 offense.
Brad Edelman, that's the second time. But he lined up on the left side, Jack, and then chipped it over on the other side, and they ran the play right into the overshifted defense.
Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
You're listening to New York Sports Connection, AM 1130.
Sometimes, Hank, when you overshift, you take yourself out of the play. Sometimes you walk right into it.
Well, he automatic the ball right in the play right into where they were lined up.
Now from the 20-yard line, 1st and 20 for Hebert. He has a man in motion, and he runs the draw play to Mays. He busts out of there and almost broke it. Mays came out near the 30-yard line before he was tackled by Joey Browner. A good thing for the Vikings that Browner made that tackle, because Mays can go the distance. Up to 8-yard pickup for Reuben Mays out of Washington. He just fell short of 1,000 yards. This year is over 900. 2nd and 12 at the 28. Mays, the lone setback. Tight end is on the left side. That's Brenner. Here they bear to throw. He runs out of the pocket. He throws. Flags go down. The pass is incomplete. The fans thought it was interference. Heavy coverage by Carl Lee on the corner as they try to get the ball to Eric Martin. I will check with this flag.
Holding again against New Orleans.
So New Orleans is in reverse. They could decline the penalty and make it 3rd and 12, but they're going to walk it off, apparently.
Holding, number 63. The penalty is declined. Third down.
Edelman, who sometimes was a center but now a guard and a Pro Bowler, is called for the 3rd time. They decline the penalty.
Anytime you have to block that Millard, number 75, you're going to get caught for holding. That's the only way you can block it.
Ball is at the New Orleans 29, 3rd and 12.
They had Dalton Hilliard Reuben Mays trying to help out on the block that time, too, and he couldn't help.
10:16 left in the half. Minnesota leading by 10. In the shotgun formation is Bobby Hebert. He awaits the snap from Hilgenberg. Takes it, back to throw. Steps up, needs 12 yards, and knocked down, sacked again. Hit from behind. The ball came loose. But the play was, and Minnesota recovered the fumble. It was a fumble, but Edelman fell on the ball, and it's punting time for the Saints. That's the first sack of the quarterback, and New Orleans can't do anything right.
And Dombrowski's having a hard time, really a difficult time trying to block Dolman, who comes in from the backside and makes the play.
He got the sack. He had 11 during the regular season. Now we wait the punt by Hansen. This will be his 3rd of the day. 9.5 left in the half. Anthony Carter back to get it. He ran one back earlier. This one is kicked high. It's going to be returned from the 30 by Carter to the 35, to the 40-yard line, to the 45. Another good return by Carter, who returned one for a touchdown 84 yards earlier. That was a 46-yard punt. A 15-yard return. Minnesota has the ball. Johnny Poe made the tackle on Carter. And Minnesota has a 17-7 lead with 9:18 left in the half. Let's take time out. What a bad time for New Orleans to go flat, Hank. They've had a couple of turnovers, a punt return for a touchdown against them, and from scrimmage, they can do nothing.
Well, I tell you, the personality of their team all year long, Jack, they're not a big play team. They need good field position to travel and score. They've had that with 20-plus 20 takeaways, but if this game so far, if they don't get that in this game the rest of the way, they're going to be in real trouble.
Here's Wilson throwing a ball outside, and it is caught beyond the 45 of New Orleans for a first down by Anthony Carter. He was on the move, and he ran out of bounds, chased out by Jakes, and Wilson was good for 13 yards and on target that time.
I'd get a slot on that side, Jack, and I'd throw on Jakes until they started to double cover him, because he cannot cover A.C. Carter.
At the 41 of the Saints, the Vikings leading by 10 and on the move again.
I'd go right back out there and do it again, Jack.
They have Rice and Nelson in the I formation.
Look at
Here's Wilson looking to throw left again. Downfield for Carter. End zone. And incomplete. And two New Orleans men were covering on the play. One of them is shaken up, as Jakes was slow in getting up as he tried to cover Carter. Is Jakes not a good cover man, Hank?
No, he's not, especially in front. The other thing that's important, that time he made up his mind he's going to throw to Carter, and Darren Nelson was wide open in the flat. Could have given it to him, he'd have run for 30 yards.
You're right. He rolled left, he looked left, and stayed in that mode throughout.
Never looked him off at all. Look at him all the way.
So it's 2nd and 10 at the 41 of the Saints. 9:05 left in the half. Vikings lead 17-7, and they have the ball 2nd and 10. They have Finney and Nelson in the backfield. And here's a give to Nelson, and he is knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Well, sometimes that works, but that's a strange sequence with a first down pass and a second down run with a guy like Nelson and Finney in there.
Jackson, they're playing him in a stacked position, and he's got a chance to move all over the field, and he is murdered.
Pat Swilling was in on that tackle. It is 3rd down and 10. 5 of 8 for Wilson in the passing department. Carter's to the left. 4-man rush. Wilson back to throw. Stepped up over the middle. And it is caught inside the 25-yard line. Little Leo Lewis was peeling inside, and he caught the ball for a 20-yard gain, and Wilson threaded the needle again, and Jackson made the tackle.
Oh, well, Jackson that time was involved in coverage. He got back to his position, looking to the inside for the inside route, but he put it right between Jackson again and also the defensive back.
Is it good or lucky?
That was good. You got to say he was good. He threw the ball exactly where it had to be thrown that time.
First down at the New Orleans 23, and this crowd is shocked.
I'd go right out at Anthony Carter on the left side here. Now they're putting a man in motion.
Here is a toss to the tailback, Nelson, trying to get outside, and he cannot do it. He's good for a yard at the most, and Sam Mills, the inside linebacker, made the tackle. He's a Pro Bowler.
It's like throwing peanuts at a tank, Jack. You can't, that kind of a play, the way they react and try to just pitch the ball from the far position, you're not going to make yardage on that one, especially Sam Mills, 51, the inside linebacker. You can't even see him, and he's very quick and patrols that area very well.
17-7, the Saints lead. 7:05 left in the half. The Vikings lead 17-7. It's 2nd down and 9 at the 22-yard line. Wilson with another pass play over the middle, caught down near the 10. And that'll be 1st and goal to the big tight end, Jordan. Jordan, who caught a touchdown pass earlier, hauled this one in, and Jakes dragged him down. A 12-yard gain, and they can't stop the Vikings.
Well, I tell you, Jack, they've been playing teams that really haven't had a tight end. And the last few games, they played against teams that really had a problem at the quarterback position. This team can hit you from a variety of ways, And as a result, they really put a lot of pressure, and he's hitting the right guy against that zone.
6:26 remaining in the half. 17-7. Vikings leading. First and goal at the Saints' 10-yard line. Wilson under center. He tosses the ball, and here's a halfback pass into the end zone. And it is caught for a touchdown. It was Anthony Carter, his second touchdown of the day. Anderson threw the ball, and look at this. It's 23-7. A 10-yard touchdown pass. And I tell you, it was deftly thrown by...
Oh, yeah, look at this. And he's definitely...
Rice threw the ball.
And he threw it right over the top. A quarterback couldn't throw the ball any better than that. It was beautiful.
Rice to Carter to make it 23-7. With 6:10 left in the half. I don't know if the Saints can come back from this one as Nelson tries the extra point. The kick is up, and it is good, and the Vikings are pounding the Saints and leading 24-7. The touchdown by Anthony Carter, his second TD of the day, and Anthony, for all you do, this bud's for you. Vikings lead 24-7. 6:10 left in the half. Let's take time out.
You know, after my warranty ran out, I took my car to the cheapest place I could find. They didn't do it right, so I had to pay for it all over again. And then I found out about this at Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers, the lifetime guarantee. If I pay for a covered repair, I never have to pay for it again, parts or labor, for as long as I keep my car. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure the advantages of owning one of their cars.
For your copy of the lifetime guarantee, see a participating Ford or Lincoln Mercury dealer.
We'll get the opinion of Hank Stram as to why this is happening in this fashion when we come back in just a moment.
The U.S. West. At U.S. West Financial Services, you'll find a company committed to assisting in the future growth of corporate America. A company offering the business community a variety of financing from joint ventures, syndication, major market backing, to equipment leasing and financing. The people at U.S. West are looking beyond the horizons in 1988, finding new ways to put their resources to work for the business community. So, if your company's growth plans need a financial leg to stand on, stick your boot in their stirrup. U.S. West Financial Services, letting the spirit of the West work for you today. U.S. West.
Hank, explain all of this to us.
Well, the big thing so far, the last drive, Jack, you know, they have completed the last 4 third-down conversions, the distances of 6, 10, 11, and 5. And, boy, in a game like this one, when you convert the third-down situations, especially 4 in a row, you're hot, and that's exactly what the Minnesota Vikings are doing. You got to throw the ball against the Saints to win, and they're throwing it very efficiently right now. And the other part of it is that so far, while the Minnesota Vikings have had the ball 16 minutes and 51 seconds compared to New Orleans 6:59, they've had the better of it, too, from a field position, and that's the game.
And total offense, 137 yards for the Vikings to 28 for New Orleans. And here's the kick by Nelson, who's been kicking those squid kicks all day. He does it again. And it is taken at the 15-yard line by Word again. He's across the 35. He's out near the 38-yard line. The Vikings are giving up a lot of field position, but not the big kickoff return. And now the crowd's trying to get back into this game, and the Saints, trailing 24-7, have really got to get going. It was Wyman Henderson downfield to make the tackle at the 37 of New Orleans.
And the other thing, they're having a tough time blocking that overshifted and undershifted defense. They haven't seen much of that all year, and they're having a tough time doing anything with it.
Hebert has got to get hot. He has Reuben Mays in the tailback spot, along with Buford Jordan. First down pass, rolls right a little bit, and he throws, and it's caught beyond the 40 and driving out to the 45-yard line. An 8-yard gain by the tight end, Hobie Brunner. That's one of the few things they've done.
Hebert was hot that time. He's hollering at the official or yelling at his lineman for not blocking on the play, but that time they rolled right into the strength of the defense again, Jack. They're lucky they got the ball off.
They put the ball at the Saints' 45, and it is 2nd down and 2. Hebert is 3 out of 7 with 1 picked off. He tosses to the tailback, Mays. He is knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Millard.
They're wasting plays time and time again, Jack. They overshifted the defense, and they ran right into the overshift. Hebert is limpy. He's gimpy a little bit, having a hard time getting up.
He cannot get up. Hebert, the starting quarterback, cannot get up. 5:17 remaining in the half. The Vikings are on top 24-7.
No, that's Reuben Mays. And not...
Oh, is it? Reuben Mays, who carried the ball, was doubled over backwards, and he is being tended to. Will take time out.
This is Don Kobus with Samsung, the maker of affordable home electronics. We've built a reputation here at Samsung in the VCR category. We're known for producing quality, no-frills, affordable VCRs. This year, we've added the frills. Our selection of video cassette recorders is the broadest we've ever offered. It ranges from low-cost VCRs that deliver reliable performance and value to full-featured stereo and cable-compatible units with sophisticated functions like on-screen programming. All of Samsung VCRs come with a special HQ chip. This is an electronic circuit that takes a good signal and makes it even sharper and clearer. In 1986, a video magazine picked a Samsung VCR as one of the best VCRs they've tested. And again, in 1987, we had a low-end model cited as a best value. For your nearest Samsung VCR dealer, you can call toll-free, 1-800-255-2550.
Reuben Mays walked off. He's being tended to. Here's a critical 3rd down for New Orleans. They have the ball at their own 45, 3rd and 2, and trailing 24-7. Big punt return by Anthony Carter helped turn this one around. A couple of turnovers by the New Orleans Saints. But the biggest item, Hank, and I've got to say this throughout our broadcast today, the Vikings started Tommy Kramer.
Yeah, that's right, and it proved to be a mistake. And you got to give Jerry Burns credit. He didn't wait long to solve the problem. He got him out of there right away, and they've been much... And I think the other thing is very evident, Jack. I think it's very obvious that the Minnesota Vikings wanted Wade Wilson to start the game. And I think when he came in,
You're talking about the players.
Yeah, the players. And I think when they came in, they were going to prove that they were right.
New Orleans is 0 for 3 on 3rd down. And it is Hilliard in the backfield with Mays out and Hebert in the shotgun. Hebert takes the snap, and he's back to throw. He throws, and it is caught. And that'll be a 1st down throw to Lonzel Hill. And New Orleans fans cheer the 1st down, and that was not an easy catch.
They were in man for man. He just ran a simple out pattern. He got the ball right on the money. They had a 4-man rush, 7 guys back.
New Orleans 49-yard line, a 1st down, and Hebert will try to keep it going. And he has Eric Martin to the right and a wingback on the left. And Hilliard in the backfield. There's a fake toss and a rollout and in trouble. Hebert on the run, throws on the run, caught inside the 35, down to the 25, down to the 20-yard line. On the pass play goes Brenner, the tight end, 26 yards, and the Saints are moving now.
You have to give Hebert a lot of credit on that one. He faked the pitch and rolled out to the right, got the defense moving. They had a shot at him, but he escaped, maintained composure, and threw it to the tight end, Hobie Brenner, who was wide open in the void area in the zone. A big play for the New Orleans Saints.
So a couple of successive 1st downs. The ball is at the 26-yard line of the Vikings. On 1st downs, Minnesota has made 10. New Orleans has made 3. 4:04 left in the half. 24-7, Minnesota leading. Under center is Brenner. And on 1st down, he fakes the draw, back to throw. Sets up and throws, sideline pass, caught at the 50, out of bounds. Out of bounds at the 15. Tried to get it to Eric Martin. He caught the ball out of bounds. Incomplete.
Eric Martin did not give himself enough room on the sideline that time, Jack. He was too close to it.
And then the hit was made by Holt, and he coughed
coughed the ball up. 3:58 left in the half. 2nd and 10 for New Orleans. The score was 10-7 at the end of the quarter, and the Vikings have 2 touchdowns in this period. Hebert is under center. Completed 56% of his passes during the year. He draws the ball to the running back, who is down inside the 25 to the 23. Goes Dalton Hilliard into the arms of Studwell, the middle linebacker.
That time they hit the void on a draw play. The defense was overshifted to the offensive right, and they ran away from it that time and came close to hitting the crack and picking up more yardage. Dalton Hilliard, number 21, runs that kind of a play much better than Reuben May.
They put the ball at the Viking 23. That makes it 3rd and 7. And Hebert is in the shotgun. Martin is to the right side. He is their ace receiver. There's the snap. Here is the run and the pass play knocked down. Incomplete. No flag. The fans thought there should be a flag. He tried to get the ball to Hill, but Carl Lee came over and knocked it down. They better take the field goal here, Hank.
They thought there should have been pass interference. They're really squeaking about pass interference.
I thought it was good coverage myself.
I did too. I didn't think it was pass problem at all.
Hebert could have run for the first down. He threw the ball, and it could have been a flag, but it was touchy, wasn't it?
Yeah, he hit him. He hit him before the ball was in the air. Before the ball got to him while it was in the air.
Now here's a field goal try by Morton Anderson. He's been terrific.
This is like automatic.
It's a 40-yard try, and he knocks it through. That makes it 24-10. With 3:06 remaining in the half, but the Vikings stymied New Orleans and kept them from getting the touchdown. Next weekend, we bring you the action from 4 divisional playoff sites on CBS Radio. Saturday, Tim Nance, Pat Hayden kick things off from Cleveland. The Browns face Indianapolis or Seattle, 12:15 Eastern Time. Then Hank and I will be in San Francisco. The game between the 49ers and the Vikings or Washington, with our broadcast starting at 3:45 Eastern Time. Sunday's doubleheader begins with the Bears hosting New Orleans or Washington in the first game, and Denver playing host to Houston or Indianapolis in the second game. All of that NFL action on CBS Radio Sports next Saturday and Sunday. Here in this game, if the Saints win, they play at Chicago on Sunday. If Minnesota wins, they play at San Francisco on Saturday. And we said at the beginning of the broadcast not to underestimate this Viking team. When they do what they're capable of doing, they're tough to beat. And they've gotten some breaks here, Hank, and taken advantage of them.
Well, I think in a big game like this, field position, turnovers, taking advantage of opportunity, they're always the ones that make the difference, Jack. And so far in the first half, the Minnesota Vikings have outplayed the New Orleans Saints. That doesn't mean that'll still happen in the second half. They've had to hang tough because these Saints have been in this position the last 2 weeks and came back and won both games.
Aaron Nelson stands at the goal line, hoping that Anderson will kick it shorter than he usually does, but this one booms deep into the end zone, 9 yards deep. Caught by Nelson. He stepped over the end line. The Vikings start from their 20-yard line. Going from our left to our right and leading 24-10, and they cannot afford to be conservative at all, Hank.
No, they can't. They got to continue to try to get points.
Brent Musburger comes along at the half. Jim Hunter gives a preview of today's AFC wildcard game. Later today with Seattle at Houston on CBS Radio. And Brent visits with Pat Summerall at halftime. Hear the crowd in the backfield. Alfred Anderson. First down, Vikings. Here is Wilson rolling left, looking to throw. Looking. Running right now. Steps up now. Sacked. Back at the 16-yard line. That's the 4th sack of the Minnesota quarterback today. Tony Elliott finally got to him. And he couldn't find anybody downfield.
He waited too long to throw the ball. Carter was open in the left side. He rolled that way. And then waited too long to get rid of the football.
And a loss of 4 yards. They wanted to throw the ball, so they are not sitting on it with a 14-point lead. The ball at their own 16-yard line. 2nd and 14 for the Vikings. Wilson takes the snap, hands it off to Penny. Nothing doing. Tackled right at the line of scrimmage by that linebacker again, Ricky Jackson. And you know, Hank, Jackson didn't make the Pro Bowl this year.
Sorry, Jack, I didn't hear you that time.
I say that Jackson did not make the Pro Bowl this year.
That's ridiculous. Ridiculous that he didn't make it.
Here's a timeout called by New Orleans. And you can see the reason why. 2:18 left in the half. They'll get another timeout, the 2-minute warning. Meanwhile, the Vikings are faced with 3rd and 13, and the Saints want another crack with the ball before the intermission. New Orleans jumped right out in front in this game, 7-0. Tommy Kramer was the starter for the Vikings. He fumbled 2 snaps from center. One of them recovered by the Saints. They went right in and scored. And Jerry Burns quickly, the next time Minnesota had the ball, sent Wade Wilson into quarterback. And I imagine that if they continue on in the playoffs, Wilson will start.
You know, Jack, now, the last 4 times on 3rd down, the Minnesota Vikings have converted on 3rd down. Let's see what they do here.
3rd down and 13 confronts the Vikings. Hank pointed out that's been the big difference in this game, that the Vikes have converted on 3rd down. They've got a 3rd and 13 now. Out they come with Carter to the left, Leo Lewis to the right, along with Hassan Jones. 2 running backs, Nelson and Rice. Here the crowd as Wilson takes the snap, back to throw, steps up and throws. It's wide open and caught beyond the 30-yard line for a 1st down. Darren Nelson got out there. Boy, they have a lot of weapons. And he was down at the 36, a 19-yard gain, and they did it again, Hank.
And what a great play. That's 5 3rd down conversions in a row, and that time they matched Darren Nelson on a linebacker, and he got it right over the top just beautifully for the necessary yardage in the 1st down.
We have 2 minutes remaining in the half, and the Vikings are 7 out of 10 on 3rd down. They're leading 24-10, and they're on the move again. 2 minutes left in the half. Let's take time out.
This is R.C. Owens from the 49er management team with a message for everyone in our radio audience. Today I'm on an outing with some young United Way volunteers. They've been selected to represent our Bay Area as part of United Way celebration. Today I'm teaching them some of the same values that are important in shaping their young lives in the future of our nation. They're learning to reach a little higher. They're setting goals that make them stretch, that make them challenge themselves to be the best they can be. And by learning to work together as volunteers, they can pass the ball to other young leaders who will follow. Here today, we all learned to reach a little bit higher than we thought we could. And through the United Way, we're all reaching for a better tomorrow. United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.
This message has been furnished by the National Football League.
Programmed fuel injection, front air dam, front stabilizer bar, body-colored bumpers, blackout trim, tinted glass, four-wheel, double wishbone suspension. If you want to get 50 miles per gallon in the city and 56 on the highway, you'll have to give up nothing. The new Honda CRX HF, based on EPA estimates, your mileage may vary. California mileage is lower.
Wade Wilson has completed 6 out of his last 7 and 9 out of 16 overall. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
You're listening to New York Sports Connection, AM 1130.
Carter left, Jones right. The ball at the 36 of the Vikings. Back to throw. Wilson sets up and looks. He's chased out of the pocket. Dumps the ball off, and it's incomplete. He tried to get it to Rice, his running back, and there is heavy coverage, particularly by Waymer on the corner. And it is going to be 2nd and 10, 1:52 left in the half, and Tony Elliott put the pressure on Wade Wilson.
And Wade Wilson, you know, I tell you, Wade Wilson has a good feel for pressure. He moves around just enough to get rid of the football. He doesn't always scramble, but moves well enough.
ball still at the Viking 36-yard line. 2nd and 10. Carter left. Hassan Jones to the right. The tight end is Steve Jordan on the right side. They might look for him here. Here's a 2nd down pass play, and Wilson is going to be sacked and knocked down at the 28-yard line. With all kinds of pressure, and Johnson, the inside linebacker, got in there, and Wilson half-tripped a 5-yard loss. He was covered by Pat Swilling, and it's going to be 3rd down and long. Timeout is called by New Orleans. That's the 2nd timeout they have employed. We have 1:46 remaining in the half. 3rd and 17 confronts the Vikings, who have been sacked now 5 times. Let's take timeout. A screen pass from Wilson to Rice is not good enough for a 1st down. It came across the 35, but Swilling was there, along with Jackson, the outside linebackers, and Minnesota will have to punt. Hank, you got to like the approach of the Vikings. They're leading 24-10, and they are not trying to run out the clock. They're trying to move the ball downfield.
Yeah, you're right. And one thing that you have to be concerned about playing New Orleans, see, once they cross the 50-yard line, they got 3 points. And so you let them get across there very often. You know, they're going to get those 3 points and get themselves right back in the ball game.
Saints have no more timeouts. They'll get the ball after this punt. 1:36 remaining in the half. Scribner's 2nd punt of the day. Bucky kicked one 36 yards his first time. And back to get it is Mel Gray inside his 30. We have a timeout prevailing at the moment.
You know, the other thing you got to worry about when you play the Saints, they have blocked 8 kicks during the course of the season and scored on 7 of the 8 opportunities. You got to watch here. They'll probably go after the kick, and they've done a great job of blocking them.
We said before the game, don't underestimate Minnesota. And now in this spot, we say, don't underestimate the ability of the Saints to come back. They trail 24-10 with 1:36 left in the half. They're about to get the ball after this punt by Bucky Scribner. He needs a good snap. It's low. He handles it. He kicks it left-footed, hangs it high. Coverage is not so hot, and Gray has the ball touch him and then bounce out of bounds. Gray tried to come up and take the ball on the dead run. It glanced off of him, a 39-yard punt, and went out of bounds. And with 1:28 remaining, Carl Lee was downfield covering. New Orleans has a chance to move the ball, but they have to start way deep in their own territory. They put the ball down at the 24 of New Orleans. And they have no more timeouts.
And they're going to try desperately to get it close enough just to kick a field goal at halftime, before halftime, and they'll go in feeling pretty good about themselves.
They trail by 14 right now. And the one thing they cannot afford at this point is a turnover.
That's one thing they got to be careful of, and not to cough the ball up some way and provide Minnesota with a chance to get some more points.
Hebert was intercepted only 9 times this season. He takes the snap, steps up and throws the screen to the right side. Couple of good blocks out across the 20, and the play is out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Joey Browner finished it off for Minnesota.
That's a great thing about Dalton Hilliard. He's a heavy-legged guy, hard to knock down, has good quickness, and one tackler never brings him down.
He picked up 4 yards. 2nd and 6. At the New Orleans 28. Clock stopped with 1:18 remaining in the half. Vikings leading 24-10. 4 wide receivers for the Saints. Hebert in the shotgun. Minnesota shows a 4-man front. It's a 4-man rush. Hebert throws. It's wide open and caught by Hill. Lonzel Hill across the 35. That's the 1st down. No more timeouts for New Orleans, so the hurry-up offense. And Browner made that tackle at the 39. 1st down. Hebert takes the snap. Back to throws. Sets it up. Throws short. Intercepted. Minnesota back the other way. With the ball, Harris, and he's down to the 35. And that is something that the Saints could not afford. Their 3rd turnover.
We just got through talking about it, Jack. You brought it up. And that's exactly what happened. That's the thing you always have to worry about. You know, you're so concerned about trying to get something at halftime, you make a mistake, and wind up giving the other team a chance to make 6 or 7.
And Minnesota has 2 timeouts. The ball is at the 35 of New Orleans. So the Vikings could get more points. And the tackle was made, the interception was made by Harris, and he was tackled down at the 35-yard line.
And they've got plenty of time with 2 timeouts and 52 seconds.
52 seconds left in the half.
They got Carter out there on 22. They ought to go right up on top right now, Jack.
Here is Wilson looking for Carter. And now he avoids a sack and then is sacked back even further for the 6th time today. Hank, he didn't unload the ball. That was a peculiar pattern that Carter ran. It was a time-consuming pattern, wasn't it?
Yeah, he didn't look like he got off the ball very well. Looked like he expected somebody else on the other side of the formation to get the ball. He didn't run a good pattern at all, Jack. He's very lazy.
The ball at the 46 and a big loss on that play of 11 yards on the sack. Wilson avoided 1 sack and then another. But Minnesota here, Hank, they could be content to go into the locker room with that lead of 24-10, and right at this point, they may turn to the conservative side. I would you?
Yeah, the big thing is you can't possibly take a chance of making a mistake here and give them a chance to get back into the ball game before they get at halftime.
Jim Wilkes was in on top, along with Bruce Clark, both defensive ends, and they stopped Wilson and sacked the quarterback of Minnesota for the 6th time today. CBS Radio Sports invites you to see Honda's newest edition, the sleek and stylish Accord Coupe, soon at your local Honda showroom. Only 45 seconds left in the half. Minnesota could just sit on it because the Saints have no more timeouts left, but they might try to get the ball downfield.
Yeah, I would still somehow, you'd like to be able to get 3 points out of this with a good field position they started with.
2nd and 21. They have Alfred Anderson as the lone running back. Jordan, the tight end, on the right side. Here's Kramer in there, quarterback. He's back to throw. He screens it left, and it is caught, and there's going to be a loss on that play. Tommy Kramer was in there. I don't know why, Hank, and Anderson caught the ball and tackled it midfield by Ricky Jackson.
I can't understand that unless Wade Wilson was hurt on the last play.
Now only 25 seconds remaining, and the clock runs, and 24-10 will be our score at halftime because New Orleans cannot stop the clock, and it is not necessary for Minnesota to snap the ball. So Tommy Kramer comes in. They may try one more way downfield. And now they run the ball to Darren Nelson. He's tackled, and the half comes to a close. And Minnesota leads by 14, and flags are down. And so we shall see what's going to happen. Here comes another flag. Do you have a flag you'd like to throw out there, Mr. Stram, just to add to the total?
I didn't hear you again, Jack.
I say, do you have a flag you'd like to throw down just to add to the total of the lying around out there?
I was looking at Wade Wilson that time.
We have 12 men on the defense. We will have an untimed down.
Okay, delay of game on defense, so the half cannot end on a defensive foul. So they move the ball to the 44, and here comes Wilson back in. What's going on there?
I was looking at the sideline to see if there was something wrong with it. There wasn't. I can't understand why they would put Kramer in.
They brought him in there, and he threw that screen pass.
And that was almost intercepted the way he threw it up for grabs.
We have no time left, but it was a foul against the defense.
They'll throw it downfield, hoping for a big play on the old Big Ben play.
So Wilson is back to throw. And throws it high and long into the end zone. Heavy traffic. Anybody got it? And it is a touchdown for Minnesota. A touchdown for Minnesota as Wilson threw it 44 yards. And was it Lewis? No, it was Hassan Jones who came away with the ball.
That's the thing. You know, you have to be patient. You got to keep your eye on the ball because it's going to wind up being follow the bouncing ball. And that's exactly what happened. It tipped up there, and he kept his eyes on it, was able to suck it right out of the air and come up with a play.
Isn't that something? Because of a defensive foul, the half was prolonged. Wilson got the ball, a 3-man rush. He zinged it into the air, just barely over the goal line. 3 receivers were there. Hassan Jones went up in the air and caught the ball. It was bobbled. He grabbed it, pulled it to his chest in the end zone, and it's 30-10.
And he initiated the catch to begin with, It hit his hands, it bobbled it, and he caught it on the way down.
Hank, don't leave at halftime. These highways are going to be crowded. It's 30-10 in favor of the Vikings. Wasn't that crazy?
And converted on a 3rd and 18. Again, a third down play, 3rd and 18.
And there was no time on the clock. They prolonged the half because of the penalty against the defense for delay of game. And the score goes to 30-10. And the extra point try is coming up. Chuck Nelson. Isn't this something? And Minnesota, Hank, after waiting 21 years to get in the playoffs, they're going to, if they lose this, they're going to be even more depressed as if they hadn't even gotten into the playoffs.
Yeah, you're talking about New Orleans. The thing about it is, Jack, you have to understand, the mentality sometimes is you're so excited about being in the playoffs that you don't realize if you don't keep winning, it's all over, and it's really disheartening to everybody involved.
They got the ball with only 52 seconds remaining on the interception by Harris. That's what happened. As New Orleans tried to move the ball downfield, Harris intercepted in 3 plays, 35 yards. And it ended up with a 44-yard touchdown pass. The extra point is also good. And now the halftime gun sounds. And the Vikings, underdogs in this game, go off the field with a 21-point lead. At the half, it is 31-10 in favor of Minnesota. Let's pause for this word.
Time now for the second half, the Saints and the Vikings. Let's go back to Jack Buck and Hank Stram.
We waited 21 years for this. That's what they're saying down here in New Orleans. Minnesota leading at the half, 31-10. We'll be back in just a moment. The 20-yard line, and Bobby Hebert and company will go from there. As the kick was returned by Mel Gray. They put the ball down at the New Orleans 22-yard line and trailing by the score of 31-10. The Saints go back to work. They've come from behind a couple of times this year, most notably against Cincinnati. They trailed 24-3 at the half and came back to win that one. Hebert is 7 out of 15 with 2 intercepted. Hilliard is in the backfield. Motion shown by the Saints and a running play going over the right side and coming out to the 25-yard line is Dalton Hilliard. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network. Doug Martin made that last tackle for Minnesota. The Saints are at their 25, and Hebert gets under center. Hilliard in the backfield with him. Reuben Mays was hurt in the first half. Hebert back to throw. Steps up, throws. It's caught for short yards out near the 20-yard line. And a sure-handed tackle was made on the tight end, Cliff Benson, as he was tackled by Chris Martin. Or that was Tice who caught that one, and that was his third of the day. Brings about 3rd and 4. Third and 4 at the New Orleans 28-yard line. The Saints have not been good on 3rd down today. Millard moves outside. He plays the defensive end spot. Hebert in the shotgun. Back to throw. He zings it, and it's tipped and batted away and almost fell into the arms of Martin as it was tipped by Henry Thomas. And again, the Saints can't get off the dime, and they'll have to punt the ball.
I tell you, that Millard and Dolman, they move those people around, and really the Saints are not doing a good job of picking up the responsibilities. And that time, they get a tip ball that time right at the line of scrimmage.
And Byron Hansen is in to do the punting. Anthony Carter, big danger, back at his 35. The Vikings should be in good shape when they get the ball back. We await the snap, and there's contact made at the line of scrimmage, and that'll be a first down if it is against Minnesota. New Orleans used a long snap count, and they might have drawn the Vikings offside. They did, and that'll be a first down, and that's one of the few breaks that the Saints have today.
Encroachment, number 53 defense.
It was 4th and 4, and the penalty makes it first down. at the New Orleans 33-yard line.
It's really ridiculous, Jack, to be offside on a punting situation. Fourth, where are you going to go?
They weren't even going to rush him either.
No. Where are you going to go? It's ridiculous.
First downs, Minnesota has 12. That was the 5th for New Orleans. And it puts the ball at the Saints' 33-yard line. They trail 31-10 here at the outset of the second half. Here is the running play, and Millard forces Hilliard to go back inside. He started left, slid back inside, and he comes across the 35, picked up 3, and Henry Thomas tackled him. 2nd and 7 for the Saints. On the corners, Minnesota has Carl Lee and Isaac Holt. The safety men are John Harris and Joey Browner. Up front, they have Martin, Thomas, Millard, and Dolman. Here is the running play to the right side, and slanting out near the 40-yard line goes Hilliard again. Not enough for a first down. You can see the Saints trying to establish a running game here, but Henry Thomas, the rookie out of LSU, stopped that one.
What they're trying to do, Jack, is establish what they do best. They haven't been. If you take the run against New Orleans away from them, people don't feel they can win the game throwing the football, and that's what's happened so far in this contest up to now.
New Orleans has kept the ball for 2.5 minutes. It's 3rd and 3, and Hebert is in the shotgun. They're going from our right to our left. Hebert reads the defense as he waits, gets the ball, looks and throws long, going for the long one and incomplete. And the receiver downfield, Patterson, got his feet tangled up a little bit, and they went for the bomb on 3rd down and 3. Reggie Rutland, the rookie cornerback, extra defensive back, was covering. And even though they got a break on the Minnesota offside earlier, and now the Saints are going to have to punt.
The thing that New Orleans doesn't have, they don't have any lightning in the outside receiver corps, Jack, and as a result, they don't strike any fear in the secondary at all as far as the big play is concerned.
Here is Hansen punting. We get word that Reuben Mays will not return to the lineup for New Orleans. This kick is high, rather deep. Carter took it on the 8-yard line and ran right to the 10, 15, 20, directing traffic, and goes out of bounds shy of the 25-yard line. A 53-yard punt, a 17-yard return. Minnesota gets the ball with 12 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Joe Colbrand was downfield to make the defensive play for the Saints with a score of 31-10 Vikings. Let's take time out. George Dealer by Days Inns of America and by Saginaw Tilt Wheel. Kramer, the quarterback.
I can't believe it. I just cannot believe it.
From the Minnesota 24, first down. There's Darren Nelson, the tailback. A delay to Nelson, running behind Anderson. He sprints out across the 30, 35, fumble. Looked like Minnesota got it back.
They did.
Darren Nelson got across the 35. The ball came free. And then the fumble, and coming away with the ball was the left tackle, Gary Zimmerman, a Pro Bowler. And they have marked the ball down at the 36. I guess they had whistled it dead. So Nelson ran to the 36. And that was a first down jaunt. That's the longest rush of the day for the Vikings. 12 yards. Kramer starts Jordan, the tight end in motion, tosses to Nelson, running left. A good block by Rice. Nelson is across the 40-yard line, and he got more good yards. And Minnesota can do this, Hank. They can get that running game going, and in this case, leading by 21, they can kill you with the ground and the clock.
And the thing, as I mentioned earlier, Jack, you got to run at the linebackers, especially Pat Swilling. They're doing a good job of blocking him and keeping out of the run. He's being stretched to the outside, and they keep running inside of him for good yardage.
Second down and 4. Nelson has rushed 9 times, 32 yards. He's out of there now, and Dozier is in the backfield with Anderson. Here is the sprint draw to Anderson. A block by Dozier. The play goes across the 45 out to the 47-yard line. And that's going to be another first down for the Vikings, and they're stuffing it right at the Saints now. And Sam Mills, the inside linebacker, made that tackle.
They're going to play the old game we used to play as kids, Jack. They're going to try to play keep away. And that's probably why they want Kramer in the game, just to maybe give them the security from a leadership standpoint and know they're not going to have to throw the ball that much. They just want to stick it at him.
Loudermilk is the center, and he's out over the ball. Dozier is in the backfield. Motion by Lewis. A toss to Dozier. Running left, cuts it back. He is across midfield and down into New Orleans territory for more good yards. 68,147 is the actual attendance here. Bruce Clark made that last tackle, and this crowd is sorely disappointed as Minnesota not only has the lead 31-10, 9:28 left in the third quarter, but they have the ball at the New Orleans 47.
And they've taken what they've done. They've taken the crowd right out of the game, too, Jack. And they're running to consistently keep running away from Ricky Jackson and Clark.
2nd and 5 at the 47. Nelson is back in there. A toss to Nelson. He turns it upfield behind good blocking. He crushes down near the 40-yard line, and he is very close to a first down and probably has one before Vaughn Johnson, the inside linebacker, tackled him. New Orleans cannot stop the Vikings on the ground now. They couldn't stop them when they were throwing the ball in the first half.
Yeah, well, they went into the game, I feel sure that they went into the game with the hope and expectation of running at Pat Swilling and the offensive left side, and now they're doing it consistently and doing a good job of it. They're running to Jim Wilkes and also Pat Swilling.
Here is a first down call for Kramer. He has Anderson and Nelson in the backfield. He gives the ball to the second man through Nelson, following Anderson inside the 40-yard line, down near the 38. He got 3. And again, it was Mills, the linebacker, the Pro Bowler, who made the tackle. They have a variety of running backs. They send in the plays with those running backs, and they're all pretty good in this Minnesota backfield.
Yeah, they got some small, fast ones, and they got some big, fast ones. Good combination.
He went to the New Orleans 38, Nelson did, on the last carry, 2nd and 7. Now Nelson lines up in the backfield. Tight end Jordan on the right side. Lewis in motion. Kramer the snap. He fakes the pass, reverses the ball to Nelson, trying to get outside, makes his cut. He's to the 35-yard line, got 3. And he was tackled by Mills again. 3rd down coming up, 3rd and 4.
They ran the Statue of Liberty to the right side because Clark, the defensive left end, chases so much. And also Ricky Jackson, that they evidently felt they've been running so much to the left they could do something right. But they still recovered extremely well, and Sam Mills, 51, was over there to make the tackle.
3rd and 4. Hank, right now, another Minnesota first down would really crush New Orleans, wouldn't it?
Oh, no question.
The ball's at the 35.
They're pretty much crushed already.
Kramer is under center with Nelson and Anderson in the backfield. 3rd down and 4. Kramer takes the snap. He's going to throw. He throws outside and incomplete. He tried to get the ball to Nelson, and he was off target. And it is 4th down.
Sam Mills was blitzing on the play, and as a result, he had to throw the ball before he actually wanted to, but the little linebacker, who's made all-pro, he's terrific. He's about 5'11", 240, and he's a terrific football player.
Now Bucky Scribner will try to kick the ball out of bounds, and Hank Stram and I do not know why Tommy Kramer was in there rather than Wade Wilson. This is the 3rd punt for Scribner. 6:55 left in the 3rd quarter. He'll try to kick it away from Mel Gray, who stands at his 10-yard line, or just pooch the ball down the middle. Scribner stands at midfield, and he awaits the snap. He gets a good snap, a big rush. Here's the kick off toward the right side, and it bounces inside the 15, and it bounces inside right at the 15-yard line, and the Saints will go from there. 6:47 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Only a 21-yard punt, no return. Scribner got what he wanted, and the Saints had better start moving the ball. They trail 31-10. Let's take time out. Really do not have those flyers on the outside.
No, they don't have any lightning to get back in the game. The only way they're going to get back in this game, Jack, is to get field position. Their kickoff team do something spectacular. Their defense intercept a pass to play in a shorter field. They're not the kind of a team that can go 80 yards very often and get back in the ball game. They don't throw the ball that well.
And Minnesota with Dolman and Millard up front, along with Henry Thomas and Doug Martin, They can be tough. Hebert gets under center from his own 14-yard line. Hilliard in the backfield with him. They're going from our right to our left. Hebert takes the snap, back to throw. And forced out of the pocket, he throws on the move. It's caught beyond the 20, out to the 25-yard line, and the play ends right there with Hilliard making a good catch and a good run. And that is going to be enough for a first down as David Howard, the linebacker, made the tackle. And Minnesota is playing without Jesse Solomon, their weak side linebacker, and he's a good one.
He is, but Henry Thomas that time and Dolman got to the quarterback again. They're getting good penetration.
Hilliard was down to the New Orleans 25, and that's the first down, and Hebert is ready to go again. On first down, he tosses the ball to Hilliard, running left, makes a couple of cuts across the 30, out to the 34-yard line. That was a good run of 9 yards by Dalton Hilliard on first down, and Harrison Browner, the two safety men, made the tackle for the Vikings. And the Vikings are going to play it very soft on defense, aren't they?
Here they are. Here comes Wilson.
Okay, it's Dave Wilson out of Illinois in his 6th year. He's only thrown 24 passes this year. They bring him in to try to change the chemistry.
And he came in in the second half against Cincinnati and made things happen, hit 13 to 24.
Meanwhile, it is second down and 1. Hilliard is in the backfield. Here is Wilson to throw to the right side, and it is caught right on target by Tice, the big tight end. And that's the first down. Out to the 44, and this place is awake now. That's a 10-yard gain on that throw. Wilson to Tice to the New Orleans 44 and a first down.
And the one thing they got to do against Dave Wilson, he does not have escapability skill at all. They got to really put pressure on him and make him throw the ball before he gets set. If he doesn't, they don't do that. He's tough. Reed's defense is better than Hebert.
Hebert was 9 out of 19 with 2 intercepted, and they jerked him. On first down, Wilson back to throw. Sets up, throws long, heavy coverage and incomplete. There goes a flag. There goes another flag. Carl Lee nailed the intended receiver. He tried to get the ball to Hill, Lonzel Hill, and brother Lee took his legs right out from under him. Now they're discussing whether or not that ball could have been caught.
Could have been caught, Jack. That's a bad call. No way it could have been
Pass
caught.
interference. Number 39 defense. First down.
But they rule an interference, and that's a first down. The medics are checking out Bobby Hebert along the sideline. I don't know what his problem is, but an interference call against Lee.
Well, they already got 3 points, that's for sure, down in this area.
Here's Wilson on a draw play to Hilliard. He goes down to the 29-yard line before he's stopped. Hilliard with a good run. That was 6 yards. Tackled by Studwell, the middle linebacker. The ball is at the Minnesota 28. And it's a pretty good drive now, helped by that pass interference call. Second down and 4 at the Minnesota 28 for New Orleans with Dave Wilson, the quarterback. Hilliard in the backfield. 4-man front for the Vikings. 4-man rush. Wilson throws short and overthrew it. And it is intercepted. And back the other way comes Minnesota on the deflection. It was Rutland, the rookie, coming away with his first of the year. That's the 4th turnover by New Orleans, and that one on a tipped ball.
Boy, that was a great play by the young Reggie Rutland, number 48.
And now they say he was out of bounds. He was out of bounds.
Minnesota ball, 1st and 10.
At the 17-yard line, and they may take a look at the replay on that one to see if Rutland got his foot down in bounds, and he might have been out of bounds. I had that impression when the play happened, and they're looking at the replay right now. He caught the ball, and I don't know if he got both feet down in bounds, which he had to do. A couple of things we're sure of here. 4:25 left in the third quarter. Minnesota leading 31-10. If Minnesota has the ball on the interception, they'll have it at their own 17, but I kind of think the ball is going to be given back to New Orleans after the replay. We shall see.
Yeah, it didn't look, you couldn't tell whether he got 1 foot in, the other one didn't look like it made it.
And the replay official, Joe Gardy, who used to be with the Jets organization, well, he might have got 1 foot in and the other one in. It's touchy.
But it might not
It's
be.
hard to see his back foot on the replay.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's out. Definitely out.
Now we look at another angle.
It's definitely out.
Well, I don't know, Hank. Depends on when he had possession of that ball.
Yeah, he has to have possession and also have
both feet.
Both feet.
So this is a touchy call inside the 20-yard line of the Vikings. They're still looking at it here on the replay. 31-10, the Vikings are leading. You'll hear a roar if they give the ball back to New Orleans. One time you look at it, it looks like he didn't get his feet in there, and the next time you look at it, you think he did. Rutland, the rookie, on the tip.
There they go.
Yeah, they're going to let him keep the ball. He did get both feet down. No, they still haven't. Minnesota started to go. They said, let us play. Of course, once they snap the ball again, then they can't overrule anything. Rutland got the ball down. I think 1 foot was up in the air, and the other one came down. They might give the ball back to New Orleans here, Henry.
Replay official, the play will stay in this call. First down.
Yeah, they're going to let it stand, and so it's an interception by the rookie, Rutland. Reggie Rutland out of Georgia Tech, and the Vikings have the ball at their own 17-yard line. New Orleans needed a break of that sort, but they didn't get it. Here's a running play, plowing from the 17 and across the 20-yard line with Alfred Anderson carrying the ball.
And they've run about 90% of their running plays to the left, Jack. 95% to the left side, right at Twilling. And also the defensive right end, Jim Wilk.
Pick up a 5 on that run by Anderson. Tackled by Atkins, the safety man, and Jakes, the right cornerback. 31-10 was our score at the half. That's what it is here. Kramer rolls left. He throws high and away, and it is caught. And that is going to be a first down on the throw out to the 34-yard line. And what a catch by Anthony Carter, who was then driven out of bounds.
Looked like he was showing a little bit behind him.
I did. I thought it was a bad throw.
I did, too.
But Carter caught it to the Minnesota 34, and Tommy Kramer is the quarterback. I don't know if there's anything wrong with Wade Wilson or what, but Wilson played very, very well, and they lifted him in favor of Kramer, who started and was lifted.
It might have been that they figured they put him in with a game like it is, give Kramer some confidence in playing time because he hadn't played very much.
He fakes the running play and throws, and it is knocked down, incomplete, and batted down by Ricky Jackson, who was all over this field. Well, if the Saints lose, it won't be Ricky Jackson's fault, will it?
No, it surely won't be, and it won't be the defense's fault either, because they played good enough. They've just been on the field too long. It's the offense that hasn't generated any kind of an offensive personality at all here this afternoon. None.
Bobby Hebert has a bruised eye, an eye injury, but he could return. We'll see if he does or not. Meanwhile, 2nd and 10 for the Vikings. 3:04 left in the third quarter. Kramer rolling left, throwing left sideline, and that ball is caught for another first down by Anthony Carter, who's putting on an acrobatic show here, a 15-yard pickup.
We talked about that earlier, Jack.
He's really helping Kramer, isn't he?
Yeah, and Jakes, that right cornerback, you can do business on him, and that's exactly what they're doing. Most of their patterns are being thrown to the left side, and they're running to the left side. They're staying away from Waymer, the left cornerback, and going to Van Jakes, number 22. Anytime he's in single coverage.
Now again, they're going to look at the replay to see if Carter got both feet down inbound at midfield. He thinks he did. And the replay official, Joe Gardy, with Nick Scorich up there with him as the observer, is very busy. I'll say this for the official along the sideline. He called it with a lot of confidence.
He got him in. Looks like he got him in, Jack.
That stops the clock with 2:59 left in the third quarter, which has been scoreless. Carter caught the ball, got one foot in, and he put the other foot right at the line. Now, whether he was on the line or not, we don't know. They look at another angle. And it looks like the replay says, okay, he got both feet in. Boy, it was touchy.
The personnel of the Minnesota offense is changing. In the first half, they ran 15 times and threw 29 times. Now they've run 8 times and passed 4 in the second half.
Now from midfield, Tommy Kramer under center, hands to Darren Nelson, running left. Slides out behind his blockers, goes inside the 45, down to the 41, and he got 9 yards. And, brother, they're doing some good blocking up front on the Minnesota line.
And I tell you the other thing, Pat Swilling, he looks like he's got roller skates on the way they're running him to the sideline and cutting inside of him. They consistently run at him and have been very successful.
Ball at the New Orleans 41, 2nd and 1. In the second year of instant replay this year, there were 57 reversals by replay officials compared to 38 reversals in the 86 season.
They'll run left again, Jack. No, they're going right.
Here, the running play to Rice. He plows inside the 40. He gets a first down. And Minnesota, though they did have to punt the ball a while ago, no, they got the ball right back on the interception by Rutland. And they've had a couple of good drives, even though they haven't scored any points. They're just murdering the Saints in this third quarter with the clock.
And the Saints, is, the way they keep running to the Saints right side of the defensive line, you'd think they start to slant that way, do something to stop that running on that side.
First down at the 38 for Minnesota. With Kramer, he's back to throw. He looks and throws to the sideline. That is caught and then out of bounds for a first down near the 20 by Anthony Carter. And he is just killing the defensive backs over there.
Well, he's killing Van Jakes. And going into the game, Jack, we thought maybe that they would spend a lot of time with him over there. So he turns to the inside, and then there's no way in the world he can cover an outside pattern because he turns his knees to the inside, you see.
Carter has caught 6 for 79 yards and a touchdown, and also returned a punt 84 yards for a touchdown. And now he took the ball to the 21 of New Orleans.
Now I know why he's wearing gloves. He wears hands out.
Loudermilk is the center, and Kramer the quarterback. Lewis in motion. And a give to Anderson, plowing his way just inside the 20 down to the 19-yard line. 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Vaughn Johnson, inside linebacker, made that tackle. And a pickup of 2 yards. It could be that New Orleans are going to head into this final quarter of this game trailing by 21 or more. This will be the 10th play of this drive by Minnesota after the Rutland interception.
And that's exactly what you want. You want to take as much time off that clock as you possibly can.
Minute and a half left in the third quarter as Kramer under center. 2nd and 8. Hands it off to Nelson, trying to get outside, and does down to the 15 before he goes out of bounds. He tried to stay inbounds. He picked up 4. Sam Mills bumped him out, stopped the clock with 1:23 left in the third period. Third down coming up for the Vikings. The ball at the New Orleans 15-yard line. 3rd and 4. Well, they're going to get 3 points, Hank, if Nelson kicks it true, even if this play misfires, unless they turn it over. 3rd and 4 at the 15.
He's been rolling out a lot in this situation. See if he does it again with the idea of hitting Carter over on the left side.
Kramer is under center. Straight back, and a quickie pass out here in the flat is dropped by Anderson. Anderson would have been very close to the first down, but he bobbled the ball out in the flat, and here comes the field goal unit. as Minnesota, leading 31-10, tries to up their advantage.
See, that kind of a play, Jack, I think is a bad call. 3rd and 4, you got 2 downs to make 4 yards. Run the ball on 3rd down to take as much time off the clock as you possibly
Keep it going.
Yeah, you got 2 downs to make 4. They've been moving the ball well. Why not go ahead and run the ball twice to get the 4 yards?
Well, here's Nelson. He was 13 out of 24 in field goal tries. This year, he's 1 for 1. Scribner will hold at the 22. It's a 32-yard try. We await the snap. A little bit high. Scribner gets it down. The kick is good. And Minnesota increases their lead. Those are the first points of the 3rd quarter, and it's 34-10. Vikings. Let's take time out.
Wang makes. That's 821-7700.
His deepest for the Saints, who have been able to score only 10 points. They've been blanked here in the 3rd quarter. This is a tough afternoon for the home crowd. 68,147 in attendance. They sold more than 69,000 tickets to complete sellout. Nelson will kick it off. He's been squibbing the ball all day. He runs to it and kicks from our left to our right. A line drive kick, and it sails into the end zone. Will be down by Word back there, and it'll come out to the 20-yard line. And the quarterback is going to be Dave Wilson. What are his strong points, Hank?
He reads defenses very well. He's got a good arm, throws the ball well inside, but he doesn't have mobility at all, and as a result, pressure really creates a problem for him.
1:09 left in the 3rd quarter. Intercepted his last time. Dave Wilson brings them out. New Orleans has turned the ball over today 4 times, 3 interceptions and a fumble. Dalton Hilliard in the backfield. He's Wilson back to throw. Throw short and threw behind the man, incomplete. That was a terrible throw as he tried to get it to Tice, the tight end. He had time, Hank, and he just rushed it and threw it poorly.
Yeah, they're getting good penetration, and I think he's been watching that all afternoon, watching the game from the sideline, and he realizes he's got to get rid of the ball quickly, and that time he just threw it too soon. Terrible pass.
2nd down and 10 from the 20-yard line with 1:05 left in the 3rd quarter. 34-10, the Vikings lead. Wilson back to throw again. Steps up. Throws on the run and incomplete. Studwell was hanging on to Hilliard once he touched the ball, and as Hilliard tried to pull it in, Studwell wouldn't let him. Incomplete, 3rd and 10.
Well, I tell you, that Millard is playing a great football game. He got penetration that time again, along with Dolman.
And Minnesota playing without Solomon, one of their best linebackers. Probably their best.
And Henry Thomas on the nose, number 97, has been a very active guy on the nose of the center and been getting good penetration.
They stay in that 4-man front. Wilson goes into the shotgun. 3rd down and 10. Takes the snap, and he's back to throw over the middle and incomplete. He threw behind Eric Martin, and it's punting time. 3 incomplete passes and a punt coming up.
This is what they do not do well, Jack. They did not play catch-up football very well because, again, the passing game has never been that efficient. They've been lucky enough to get good field position and have turnovers so much of the time this season. They're not getting that opportunity today, and I think the longer you go into playoffs, the greater your shortcomings are revealed.
Brian Hansen will punt to Anthony Carter. They had hoped for a lift from Wilson, but he was 1 out of 5 and had 1 intercepted. We're down to 54 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. There's the snap and the kick by Hansen. And Carter waits and takes it at the 40, up the middle of the 45, and avoids 1 tackle. And he is knocked down near the 44-yard line after dipping back a bit. And it was Tice downfield to make the tackle. 40-yard punt, 4-yard return, but all the Vikings want is the football. 41 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Anthony Carter is limping a bit, and he says, Hassan Jones, no, Gustafson comes in to replace him. They put the ball down at the Minnesota 44. It can do a lot of things from there, Hank.
Yeah, that's good field position.
41 seconds left in the third quarter. Again, it's Tommy Kramer, the quarterback.
See if they run left. Here they
Here's
go.
a toss to Dozier running left behind Anderson. And he moves across the 45 out near the 48. It was Sam Mills. Someone tried to block him, but they couldn't hang on to him, and Mills made the tackle. And that'll be the final play of the third quarter unless New Orleans wants to expend a timeout, and they don't want to do that because they're trailing 34-10. At the end of three quarters, the score, the Vikings 34 and New Orleans 10. The gun sounds, and it'll be 2nd and 5 for Minnesota when we start the fourth period. So the Vikings have the ball and the lead, and let's pause for this word.
Easy in, easy out.
By Budweiser and by Honda, maker of the Accord LXI four-door sedan. 15 minutes remaining in this wild card playoff game, and the score is 34-10 Vikings. They have the ball at their own 49. It's 2nd down and 5. We waited 21 years for this. That's what they're saying here in New Orleans. Nelson goes in motion. Kramer hands it off, and the running play goes down into New Orleans territory, and good for about 3 yards over the right side, maybe 4. And it was Alfred Anderson carrying and Vaughn Johnson, the tackler. 3rd down coming up. 3rd and 1.
You know, that left tackle of Minnesota, Zimmerman, number 65. He's a terrific player, Jack. Great balance. You talk about a picture-perfect looking offensive tackle. He's 6'6", 277.
And he's headed for the Pro Bowl.
Yes, he is, and justifiably so.
Here's a 3rd down running play, and it's Nelson driving down inside the 45. One of the reasons, that's a 1st down, one of the reasons Minnesota uses so many running backs is that Nelson is banged up a little bit and unable to play the full game on offense. But they certainly have good backups, don't they?
Yeah, they really do. They have a good array of running backs. You know, when you talk about Darren Nelson and Anderson and Rice and Dozier and Finney, that's a good combination. They got size, and they got speed, and they got quickness.
The ball is at the Saints' 43, 1st down for Kramer. They've been getting 5 yards on 1st down. Nelson is the tailback. Here's a give to Nelson. A block by Anderson, and Nelson to the 40. He got 3 yards. Hank Frickley, when you see a team use a lot of different running backs, they'll mess it up with procedure or motion, but they don't do that.
No, they have enough experience where they're getting off the ball in good shape, and they really haven't stopped themselves. They played very efficiently this afternoon, except for the first couple of fumbles of the game.
Pat Swilling made that tackle, and this defensive unit of the Saints has got to be a little bit weary.
Well, they've been out there an awful long time, and so far, Minnesota's had the ball for 26 minutes and 16 seconds. The Saints only 16 minutes.
2nd down and 7 for the Vikings from our right to our left, and they're at the Saints' 40-yard line. Motion by Leo Lewis. Here is Kramer with a give to Nelson, sliding right, upfield, down inside the 35, down near the 31-yard line. And that is another 1st down for Minnesota before the tackle was made by Dave Waymer, another Pro Bowler. Nelson with a 1st down run to the 31. Looks like lights are out for the Saints.
Yeah, it does. You can hear the school is out. Looks like the bell's ringing.
34-10. The Vikings are leading. And we have 12:15 left in the game and the clock running. A 1st down call for Kramer. Kramer rolls right, delays the ball to Anderson, finds a lot of running room and breaks it inside the 20, down to the 15, down to the 15, and it stopped right there, and that's another 1st down, an 18-yard run, and Brett Maxey tackled him along with Waymer, and there's no stopping these Vikings now.
They're totally dominating the line of scrimmage, and that's what you have to do, and that's what they're doing. You know, ironically, coming into this game, Jack, why the Saints have averaged 34 minutes and have been, I think, the leading possession team in the National Football League. Minnesota, from a possession standpoint, coming in this game, I think was like 29 minutes. But it's amazing how it's reversed in this first playoff game here this afternoon.
When they snap the ball, there will be 11 and a half minutes left in the game. It's a first down at the 15-yard line for the Vikings. This is another good drive. Kramer is under center. Jones goes in motion. Here comes Dozier trying to get outside left. Makes his cut. Goes down to the 12-yard line. He got 3 in the arms of Jim Wilkes, the defensive end. And a penalty flag is thrown, and it looks like a procedure call against Minnesota. Just when we said they seem to do a lot of things right with the snap of the ball, they don't.
But that's still pretty good considering all the plays they've run. They haven't made many mistakes out here this afternoon.
Tim Irwin, the right tackle, was called for procedure. They have 2 big tackles, Zimmerman and Irwin.
And
guards are Huffman and Cook.
Yes, and I think of the 4 tackles, the 2 tackles for the Minnesota Vikings have had the better of it this afternoon as far as blocking those good defensive ends.
The ball at the New Orleans 20, first and 15. 11 minutes left in the game. Vikings leading by 24. Kramer fakes a pitch, hands it off to Dozier. Dozier dives down to the 18-yard line. He got a couple of yards, and Vaughn Johnson tackled him. And the Vikings are just grinding it out. They send in Rice with the play. They send Anderson out. And now we're down to 10 and a half minutes remaining.
You know, Jack, I talked about Sam Mills earlier in the game. He's going to the Pro Bowl. He's only 5'9", 225, the free agent from the United States Football League. But he's been a terrific force in this defense.
Kramer keeping his club rolling. Jones goes in motion. Here's a toss to the tailback, Rice, and Rice is missed by a couple of people and plows down to the 11-yard line. The tackling of the Saints is not the best today.
No, it hasn't been very good at all. It hasn't been sharp. It hasn't been crisp. And back to Sam Mills, he's 5'9", and he says being 5'9" is really kind of an advantage for him because he's hard to find and hard to see. And as he was growing up, why, his hero was Butkus. Can you imagine? Isn't that a good one?
I don't blame him.
Nope.
I think Butkus is the best defensive football player I ever saw.
Yeah, well, I think he was too, and our Willie Lanier in Kansas City was just like him. He was a great linebacker, a middle linebacker for us in Kansas City.
Bruce Clark made that last tackle at the 11-yard line. It is 3rd down and 6 for the Vikings. Now we have 9.5 left in the game. They keep it on the ground, and the running play, it breaks down to the 5, inside the 5, down to the 4-yard line. It's going to be 1st and goal. More bad tackling, and it was Dozier breaking tackles and leaving people in his wake. 1st and goal, Minnesota, and they're about to drive the final stake.
Yeah, they really are. And the things that they have done extremely well, they haven't done here this afternoon. The New Orleans Saints, they've made turnovers. They've taken advantage of the running a game, and they haven't been able to run, and they're not doing a good job of tackling at all here this afternoon.
And now in first down, Minnesota 23 and New Orleans only 8. It's 1st and goal for the Vikings at the 4. Kramer trying to move him on in. He gives to the fullback, Penny, and he dives to within 2.5 yards of the goal line. And the clock continues to run. 8.5 minutes remaining in this game. Clock running 34-10. Vikings leading and winning here today. The tackle was made by Frank Warren at the 3.
You know, and Bob Snelker, the offensive coordinator for Minnesota, has done a good job of preparing the team offensively and is doing a good job of calling the plays from the sideline.
It is 2nd down and goal from 3 yards away. 8 minutes left in the game.
They'll run left.
Here is Kramer with a bootleg, running, throwing. He threw it away. He threw it away and stopped the clock. He was looking for a bootleg pass, but it wasn't there, and he wisely pitched it out of bounds.
Yeah, it was a play-action fake. Nobody there. They faded it very well and throws it out of bounds, as you mentioned, Jack.
Sam Mills was there trailing the would-be receiver, and so Kramer said, and ditched it. It is 3rd down and goal from 3 yards away. Minnesota's 10 out of 16 on 3rd down. They'll probably still keep it on the ground. They have Anderson in the backfield along with Rice. The give is to Rice, and nothing doing for him. He got to the 2, It's 4th down, but look at that clock. 7:45 left in the game. Field goal unit coming on for Minnesota. And 7:44 left in the game. They had stopped the clock. Now they crank it up again. In to try a field goal is Nelson. He's 2 for 2 today. Chuck Nelson. Scribner will hold the ball. And they're going to take a penalty, I'm sure. They're going to let that 30-second clock run down. Take a penalty. We still have another 10 seconds on the 30-second clock. We're down to 7:20 left in the game. This is going to be a 19-yard field goal try. There's the kick by Nelson. That's good. He's 3 for 3. And that good drive results in 3 points and a 37-10 lead for the Vikings. And the folks head for the exits with 7:14 left. With a score, 37-10 Minnesota. Let's take time out.
Sorry to bother you on the weekend, Marcia, but I'm still in Cleveland at the day's end. I need you to get Miller, the new guy, to cover my calls in a leg either. Oh, and Marcia, tell him with the money he saves he can buy me dinner when I get back.
Days Inn, with nearly 600 convenient locations. No wonder America's waking up to us. Call Days Inn, 1-800-325-2525.
Here's the lowdown on the new Honda Civic hatchback. It's lower. The car is lower, but there's more headroom inside. The hood line is lower, but the engine is more powerful. How is this possible? It's a Honda. There's something else about the new Civic hatchback you should know. The price. You guessed it.
The best way to approach a household project is with a plan, determination, and True Value Hardware Store's Master Mechanic tool. Like their cordless power screwdriver with reversible slotted Phillips bit, it recharges in its own stand and provides 130 RPM. Then get their 21-piece 3/8-inch standard socket set with sockets, 2 extensions, and a quick-release ratchet. Get the Master Mechanic power screwdriver or the socket set for just $15.99 each at participating True Value Hardware Stores and home centers.
The Vikings just ran 13 plays, moved the ball 54 yards, got a field goal out of it, but more important than that, they kept the ball for a long time.
Yeah, they kept it for 8 minutes and 27 seconds. Did exactly what they wanted to do, take time off the clock.
Minnesota has had the ball 36 minutes. New Orleans, 16 minutes. And we have 7:14 left in the game. This will be a kickoff by Nelson. He's been squibbing the ball all day. And it looks like it's going to be Minnesota at San Francisco on Saturday. Here's the kick, a line drive, and it's taken at the 10-yard line, returned to the 20, to the 25, and back up the middle, right to the 30-yard line for New Orleans. Goes Michael Adams. So neither quarterback, Hebert or Dave Wilson, has distinguished himself here today. And they had chances, Hank.
Yeah, they had some chances, but as I mentioned earlier, Jack, they take the skateboard. It's hard for them to take the Concorde. They travel very slow.
The ball is at the Saints' 29-yard line. The last time they had the ball, they threw 3 incompletions and then punted. Their ace receiver, Eric Martin, comes to the right side. They have 4 wide receivers. Wilson out of the shotgun, drops back, steps up, dumps it off short, and Hilliard had to go right through his hands, incomplete. So Wilson is not piling up very good figures. Exactly 7 minutes left. It's 29-yard line. The last time they had the ball, they threw 3 incompletions and then punted. Their ace receiver, Eric Martin, comes to the right side. They have 4 wide receivers. Wilson out of the shotgun, drops back, steps up, dumps it off short, and Hilliard had to go right through his hands, incomplete. So Wilson is not piling up very good figures. Exactly 7 minutes left.
And they don't look like a playoff team at all when they have to throw the ball consistently to try to get back in the game. They do not do that well, Jack. I don't like to belabor the point, but I think, as I mentioned earlier, the farther you go into playoffs, the more your shortcomings are magnified, and that's exactly what this thing is here this afternoon. they've been exposed here this afternoon by the Minnesota Vikings.
They became a good team, and Reuben Mays started to move the ball on the ground. But Mays, there's another wild throw by Wilson. That one is incomplete, and he's 0 for his last 5. He's going to walk the bases loaded, isn't he?
Yep.
So Wilson is piling up some very poor figures, and he is 1 out of 6 with 1 intercepted.
Just the opposite. He came in against Cincinnati, Jack. It was hotter than a firecracker, and right now he's as cold as an ice cube.
He tried to get that last ball to Lonzel Hill, and it is 3rd down and 10 from their own 29-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Wilson again. Takes the snap, rolls right, looks, throws on the run, and dropped by Martin. Had his hands on the ball, and he was whacked hard by Isaac Holt. Incomplete, and punting time again for New Orleans.
I don't know why they don't go into their shotgun and 2-minute offense, Jack. They got nothing to lose.
Saints have been 1 out of 9 on 3rd down today. They haven't done anything right today. They did jump out in front 7-0. That was because of a fumble and a 1st and goal. Here's another kick, in the 6th of the day by Brian Hansen. He didn't expect to be this busy. 6:48 remaining in the game.
And he changed his kicking style this year, Jack. He used to be a 3-step kicker. Now he's a 2-stepper.
And his kick is not too hot. And it is taken on the 35-yard line and returned across the 40, and the ball is fumbled. And it looks like New Orleans has recovered. A fumble by Carter, who had limped out earlier, came back in, caught that punt, and fumbled it. And it was recovered by New Orleans' Van Jakes. The ball was stripped, and Carter knocked over backwards, and he's not too big. And Jakes recovered the fumble. That's the 2nd turnover for Minnesota today. So a punt, a fumble, and a New Orleans recovery. Near midfield. So the Vikings have to play defense again. Let's see where they're going to mark the ball. Right at the 50. And Wilson trying to complete a few. Hands off on the running play instead to Hilliard. He's good inside the 45 to the 44-yard line, but that's all right with the Vikings. 6.5 left in the game, and Wyman Henderson was the tackler.
Now they finally go to their 2-minute offense. Not that it's going to make a lot of difference, but at least you can run a lot more plays and try to make something happen.
2nd down and 3, and Wilson lines up in the shotgun, takes the snap. 4-man rush. He is going to be sacked and knocked down from behind, and the ball came loose. Who wants it? Who has it? Looks like Minnesota got it right back. Wilson fumbled, and the Vikings get it with 6:06 left in the game. That's the 5th turnover by New Orleans. And the fumble recovery by Millard. What a game he's played. We have
all over the place.
6:06 left. Minnesota has the ball and a 37-10 lead. Let's take time out.
This buzz for all that you do. There's something special about you. Every day now, every way now. You keep on coming through. I just got to say it. You really make it work. And this buzz, and Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. This buzz for you.
Disappointing day for the hometown fans. 6:06 left. Vikings leading 37-10. We'll be back in just a moment. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS radio network.
You're listening to New York Sports Connection, AM 1130.
Keith Millard caused the last fumble and set the Vikings up at their own 40-yard line. Kramer to Anderson. Anderson spins out near the 44-yard line. Hank Stram, how well do you think the Vikings are going to do at San Francisco Saturday?
Well, I think around the National Football League, I think people feel that the Minnesota Vikings have the talent to go as far as anybody, and I'm sure that the San Francisco 49ers have a great deal of respect for this football team. If I'm not mistaken, Jack, I think the Minnesota Vikings have beaten the 49ers on the last two occasions they played.
They just picked up 4 yards. We're down to 5.5 minutes left in the game. Tommy Kramer at the controls. From his own 44, takes the snap, tosses the ball to Anderson, running left, dips outside, comes back inside, across midfield, down into New Orleans territory, and gets a first down. He's out of bounds, stopping the clock with 5:18 left in the 12-yard run, stopped by Brett Maxey. It's just a matter of time.
Yes, and they've really have done a number on Pat Swilling, who is a terrific blitzer. Good drop back on the passes, but he is not good against the run, and they've really run at him this afternoon and gave him a great workout.
Hank, it doesn't matter at all how Minnesota got into the playoffs, an 8-7 record. They're here.
That's the only thing that really matters. Is right. Just so you get into the playoffs, and then this jump ball, anything can happen. Everybody is 0-0.
From the 44 of New Orleans, here's a toss to the tailback, and running with the ball down inside the 40-yard line is Rick Fenny, the big fullback, and it keeps the clock running, and New Orleans is going to end their season here today, 5 minutes playing time from now. Minnesota lost their last game to Washington, and then they got into the playoffs when Dallas defeated St. Louis. But here they are, and they'll be playing next Saturday in San Francisco. The ball at the Saints 37. Second down and 3. New Orleans can't stop the Vikings at all. Kramer with a toss to the running back, and Fenny makes the mistake of running out of bounds at the 35-yard line. He should have turned back in, even if he had to take a loss. Swilling bumped him out. Anthony Carter, one of the stars today.
Yeah, the other thing now they're doing, the Saints, they got the safety man, Gene Atkins, number 28. He's right outside the linebacker. They're put a man right up there on the line of scrimmage to try to stop that running on that left side.
Well, the season is going to end for the Saints here today, except for their Pro Bowlers, Morton Anderson, Brad Edelman, Reuben Mays, Sam Mills, and Dave Waymer. The Vikings have Pro Bowlers Anthony Carter, Gary Zimmerman, Steve Jordan, Chris Dolman, and Joey Browner. They've played this game without their outside linebacker, Jesse Solomon. Here's another running play with 4:20 left on the clock, and it stops short. Well, it might be very close to a first down. As Fenny ran with the ball again. And that is another first down. So we're just going through the motions now, folks. 4 minutes left in the game. The Vikings have been terrific on third down. 18 tries.
And they hit 11 of 18. Is that strong in a big game like this one?
Yes, sir. They put the ball down at the 33-yard line of New Orleans. And this place is emptied in a hurry. Tommy Kramer, who shared the duties today with Wayne Wilson, is the quarterback. I formation, Dozier the tailback. Toss to Dozier, running right, gets outside, turns upfield to the 30, down to the 29-yard line. And he got 4.
Talking about third down conversions, Jack, we talked about Minnesota being 11 of 18. How about the Saints?
Uno Portanoeve, 1 out of 9, man.
Yeah. What was that you just said there, Jack? I didn't understand that.
Uno Portanoeve. 3:10 left in the game, 1 out of 9. That's terrible. And that was their bread and butter all season long, wasn't it? Making that third down play, good special teams, intercepting passes, making turnovers come about. It's second down and 7 for the Vikings. Less than 3 minutes left in the game. Tommy Kramer hands the ball off, and Rice changes direction, and he is hauled down from behind. The tackler was Vaughn Johnson. They do have good linebackers on this New Orleans team.
Yeah, they
and their
do.
defensive unit has played fairly well.
Well, the front seven, they've been on the field so much, Jack, they're just tired out. You can't win a game with the other team dominating the possession chart as much as the Minnesota Vikings have done it today. And rushing-wise, for the average, the Saints have only given up 103 yards. Today, they've already given up 173.
You can win even though you're dominated on the clock if you make big plays, but Hank Stram has pointed out that they are not big play people. Here is Gannon The quarterback running with the ball, and he's down inside the 25. It keeps the clock running. That'll take us to 2 minutes, and that's another Viking first down as Rich Gannon gets some playing time here today.
And he's a good-looking young quarterback. Played his college football at Delaware. He's a rookie. 6'3", 197. Very active.
2 minutes left. Vikings way ahead. Let's take time out.
Well, the Saints had won 9 in a row, but not today. They trailed 37-10 with 2 minutes left. Hank, they had 5 turnovers, 4 drop passes, 5 penalties, and only 135 yards of total offense.
And the other thing, Jack, you know, there's 3 ways you can win a football game: offense, defense, and specialty teams. You win 2 out of 3, you're normally going to win. The Saints lost all 3 today.
They've been dominated by the Vikings. Here is Dozier dipping inside, going outside to the 20, 15, 10. Out of bounds, first and goal. 1:53 left in the game. They keep a lot of fresh running backs in there. That was a 15-yard pickup by Dozier. Hank, Will McDonough told me today that with regard to the St. Louis franchise, Bill Bidwell, the owner of the team, had one of his sons transfer out of high school to Georgetown Prep right outside of Baltimore for the next semester. And apparently there's nothing that's going to keep the Cardinals in St. Louis. That's a shame, isn't it?
Well, it really is a shame. It really is too bad, but it looks like that's been obvious for some time. You living in St. Louis, Jack, you've indicated that in the past.
It's been on the slide all the way.
Yep.
It's first and goal from the 8-yard line. And as Rich Gannon, the quarterback, the third quarterback used today, he hands it off to Dozier on a delay right up the middle. Touchdown. Another touchdown for the Vikings. They are pouring it on now. It's 43-10. Who would have believed that that would have occurred here today down here in New Orleans?
That's right, Jack. Who'd have thunk it?
That was amazing.
I thought, Jack, that the Saints were going to have a tough time here this afternoon, but I never thought it'd be such an overwhelming game in favor of the Minnesota Vikings, especially the way it started.
And the extra point try will be coming up. It's 43-10, and Minnesota spotted the Saints 7 very quick points before the game was 2 minutes old. Nelson tries for another extra point, and the Vikings have done a lot of things right today. We want to give them all the credit they deserve. They fell behind. They came roaring back. The kick is good. The score is 44-10. Vikings, they're headed for San Francisco next Saturday. Let's take time out.
You probably don't give light bulbs a thought until they burn out. Then you'll wish you had stocked up on GE bulbs from True Value Hardware stores. Pick up a 4-pack of GE soft white bulbs in 40, 60, 75, or 100 watts for just $1.99 for a generous amount of light with less glare and shadows. And conserve energy with GE soft white 3-way bulbs. Choose 30, 70, and 100 watts or 50, 100, and 150 watts for just $1.49 each at participating True Value Hardware stores.
Alpha 6, this is Alpha 1.
This is Alpha 6.
We did it again. We captured Bravo's command post.
Second day in a row. You guys had a pretty good weekend.
Get a change of pace without changing your lifestyle. Join the Army Reserve. After training, you usually serve 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year. But the experience lasts a lifetime. Talk to your Army Reserve recruiter. Paid for by the Army Reserve.
The very demonstrative owner of the New Orleans Saints is trying to get the crowd revved up to give the team a hand for the wonderful season, and they had a great year.
Yeah, regardless how you slice it, they've had a great year, but to get all of it in 1 year and then finish like this, Jack, has to be very disappointing. Very disappointing.
They came in with a record of 12-3. They had won 9 in a row. And Minnesota has just kicked the daylights out of them here this afternoon.
No contest. After the first touchdown, there's been no contest.
Mel Gray will await the kick, and these Vikings are rollicking because they didn't expect to be here. In fact, a lot of their players said, we don't deserve to be in the playoffs the way we played. They lost 3 out of their last 4. They had a lead against San Francisco late in the game last week and lost that one, but they got here nonetheless. And as we pointed out before, that's the only important thing. There's 1:46 left in this game, and aside from their Pro Bowlers, the season is ended for the New Orleans Saints. There's the kick by Nelson again. Mel Gray waits inside his 5. It's another squib kick.
And it's taken by one of the up men, and racing back with the ball is Brock. He's across the 20-yard line. He's out to the 27-yard line. Stan Brock returns the ball, and the Saints get another 1 minute and 41 seconds of playing time. How do you expect the other game to go today, Hank, with Seattle at Houston under the dome?
Well, I kind of like, I think it's going to be a good game. I kind of like Houston, Jack. I think they'll win the game.
Dick Stockton and Pat Hayden coming your way with that story here on CBS Radio. And then we have 4 games to broadcast for you next weekend, 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. It is Dave Wilson, the quarterback, back to throw. He throws to the sideline, and it is out of bounds. Ruled incomplete, and Wilson can't get anything going. He got it out to Eric Martin, but Martin couldn't get both feet down in bounds. Next Saturday, Jim Nance and Pat Hayden will kick things off from Cleveland. The Browns will take on either Indianapolis or Seattle at 12:15 Eastern Time. Hank and I will then be in Frisco for the Viking game. Our broadcast at 3:45 Eastern Time. Sunday's doubleheader begins with the Bears hosting Washington in the first game. That's a tough test for the Redskins and for the Bears, come to think of it. Here is an inside handoff to Hilliard, running with the ball up the middle. That brings about an interesting match, Henry, with Minnesota going to San Francisco and Washington having to go to Chicago.
Yes, and of course, I think the big difference is going to be whether or not Jim McMahon's going to be able to play for the Bears. If he plays for the Bears, it can make a tremendous difference.
Also on Sunday, Denver plays host to Houston or Indianapolis. Here's a pass play to the sideline. It's good out to the 40-yard line for some yards to Mark Pattison. 109 left as the Saints try to score more than the 10 points they have. And they had 10 at the half. They've been shut out the entire second half. At the half, it was 31-10. They were still somewhat in it. But now it's 44-10, and the Vikings have scored in each quarter of this game. Another pass play by Wilson. He avoids a sack and throws, and it's dropped. 1:02 left.
You know, the other thing Minnesota has done here this afternoon, Jack, which is very obvious, they have taken the crowd out of the game, and they've taken Morton Anderson out of the game. 2 very important ingredients.
There's one guy who is always after the opposing quarterback from the Minnesota front 4.
Well, last year he was a linebacker. This year they made him a defensive end. Chris Goldman, who you're talking about, Jack, he's been a dominating force for the Minnesota Vikings, along with Keith Millard. Has he been something?
And Jesse Solomon didn't play today, so the Vikings hope he'll be back against San Francisco. Here's another pass play, and it's intercepted by Minnesota. Back the other way with the ball is Steve Freeman. And he is down to the 35-yard line and still running to the 30, to the 25, and finally knocked down at about the 22-yard line. They were really blasted by Stan Brock on the tackle. But the Vikings...
Excuse me, Jack. It didn't look like anybody wanted to tackle him.
Nobody.
They thought the game was over, I think, the way they stood around, didn't try to do anything.
That's the 6th turnover for New Orleans today. And Minnesota has the ball with 46 seconds remaining in the game. Let's pause for this word. And now they're just going to run the clock out, and they started down, and even though each team has 3 timeouts, nobody is anxious to stop the clock. The Vikings will need another snap of the ball and then walk away with a 44-10 victory, and they'll have a short work week, Hank. They've got a long trip to make, and they play Saturday.
But they're not going to argue about, they're not complaining about that situation, Jack, are they?
No, they're not. But it's something to be considered because here San Francisco, particularly with Montana still on the mend, they have this extra week off, and they'll be awaiting the Vikings. And now with only 10 seconds left, there's another snap. The final score, 44-10. Minnesota advances. New Orleans eliminated. Let's pause for this word.